lots to discuss this morning, starting with an S&P 500 that as of right now poised to open slightly lower than where we closed yesterday. If you move on here over to the NASDAQ, we're actually gapping up. There's one stock that could be helping us with this NASDAQ move. We'll get to that in a minute. But in the meantime here, USO also gapping up here, as unfortunately we have more unrest here in the Middle East with Iran reportedly firing here at Kuwait. We've got the U.S. trying to take down some Iranian missiles. So lots of back and forth here continuing in the Middle East. The President Trump apparently indicated in a podcast published this morning that Iran has indicated willingness to change their nuclear program, though that could always change. We're going to have to wait and find out what happens there. In the meantime, MRVL up another 12 to 13% this morning after closing more than 30% higher and at highs yesterday. So great look here for this stock, IREN, with the new data center announcement. There's also earnings. There's a lot to talk about regardless of what sector you're looking at. Good morning. Happy Wednesday, Sharif.
Thank you, Adair. Likewise to you. There is a lot to talk about. So you have Marvell ripping up over $300. Intel also getting a bump here, about 5.5% in the morning. Lip Bhutan making statements regarding Taiwan Semi, viewing them more of as a partner as opposed to a competitor. You also have PANW yesterday reporting earnings, spiked up through some highs, but selling off aggressively this morning, down 2 3/4. GameStop reported. Where are my GameStop heads at? We're up almost 12%. Likewise with Macy's reporting earnings this morning. Adara, Ulta, GitLab also in focus. And then Morningstar out with an interesting piece about the SpaceX valuation, saying it's not even worth half of the $1.75 billion that it's slated to come to market to. So keeping an eye on NASA here, down 1.7% to start the morning.
Interesting too here. Speaking of SpaceX, you've got Wedbush coming out here saying that they think there's about an 80% probability now of that Tesla-SpaceX merger by 2027. We're going to have to wait and see what happens here after the bell. You are going to get Broadcom, CrowdStrike, and C3AI. And just a quick housekeeping note here, at 8:15 a.m. we get ADP employment change, 9:45 and 10. You're going to get some PMI data. Good morning, guys. How are you doing today? Sean and Neil.
Good morning. I heard you say the 3 names that are reporting tonight. You know, it's not often you hear C3AI. Good for them to be in a sentence for the first time ever with Broadcom and CrowdStrike. Yeah. Hey, but, you know, they matter. Out of nowhere, I mean, Ryan Cohen drops a surprise earnings of GME. Like, you know, Marvell was in the news. You would have expected that. I don't know that anyone was expecting GME to be up, but hey, they're up anyways. IREN making more moves, another breakout here. And I was just checking because I heard us talking about, well, it was in Sharif's note, Marvell could get inclusion into the S&P 500. And what I can't understand is, keep hearing it, and no one's making that market in the betting market. It's still, the last time I checked, and I don't get that one. Like, it's still Reddit up here, Pure Storage, SpaceX, those layers that's already there, but you don't have Marvell. There's something fishy about that one, but you can always make your own market with those. And that's the thing. The only surprise this morning is, again, that GameStop is going to be up on, surprisingly, a big-time quarter from Ryan Cohen and co. But the rest it feels like continuation from yesterday. Select chip names look good. The market not really happy with this Google raise at all, and crypto still sucks. Like, that's all of that's still the same from yesterday.
Yeah, crypto little.
Well, I mean, not as bad.
67 is trying to go there.
Still sucks.
You're right, Ryan O'Day. I don't have your thing here, but it is a marvelous morning once again. Look at Palantir making a move higher, trying to anyways. It was pretty beat up just a couple of minutes ago. Now you're trying to get back up to the upside here. Don't think we'll be shorting this market anytime today, man. I mean, it's just so strong. Yesterday we lost money early trying to go short, and I don't think shorting is the right way to go. But yesterday, you know, we had, as my trade of the day should have been, Google short. We're going to try that again. That would be the one name that we're going to try to go short here today. The one that got away, IREN, another one. This is going to be on here as well. This is going to be a big long for me if it can come in. IREN. This one is running through $70 now. It's gone. So there we go. IREN. We really like that. We'll see if we can get back up to $80 possible today, right here, 78, $79. We'll watch out for that one coming through. But yeah, man, I mean, it's just one of those things where this has been now, like Palantir was obviously a difference maker, for myself and investing. And this year it's been MRVL, and it's just, thank you to Jensen creating more and more wealth, in this name as it just continues to extend out. And I was telling Adair, the reason why I bought this name a year and a half, 2 years ago or whatever, was because of Matt Murphy and listening to him honestly on with Kramer. And he just kept saying the market has MRVL wrong, and kept explaining why. And that was during this move back in here. This was like, tariff tantrum, April, a lot of names got hit. But then when it kept on coming back into here, just believing in the space and believing in what was going on. And, now all of a sudden back in February, this name was $70. Now you're up to $325. And it was kind of an easy play. Like, it was bouncing off the 200 period moving average, had a very straight line here. This is like, their Intel moment where it was going from like 87 to 87. It was doing nothing for, 8 months here. And then all of a sudden, that's what it takes. A couple of good words, a couple of good spots in the market, and there goes MRVL. So, this has just been such a nice ride to the upside there. I was actually talking with Marissa last night. I was looking at the prices I was looking at the Model Y Juniper, because I don't know how long I want to wait for this R2. And I was just thinking, even if I just buy a Model Y, and then if the R2 comes to Canada in mid-2027, I'll sell my Model 3, take the Model Y, and buy her the R2. Because they're only $64,000 for the premium version. That's the long range all-wheel drive here in Canada. So getting cheaper and cheaper here. They were $84,000. They dropped 20 grand in July because of tariffs and everything. So right here, $420 on Tesla, looking like something. Let me know in the chat if you guys have any of those Model Ys, the new Juniper. I really like the light along the front. It's looked like that Cybertruck light. That's what I was thinking about. But anyways, that's the new thing here. And then Meta trying to go above 600.
It's holding.
Now it's trying to hold. It did dip below 598 or so in the pre-market.
It's precarious.
Yeah, and that's right there, right at the close. That was a whoosh. A little bit of a dumping moment there, 597 and change there for Meta. But yeah, good one. Great game last night in the Stanley Cup, man. 5-4. Goal scored by somebody, Hurdle or something, in Vegas with 3 minutes left. So it was an amazing game there, 5-4. I think that's going to be a great series. And tonight we have the NBA, so that should be another amazing one. So it should be good.
See if the Knicks can pull it off. It's tough when you're going against an alien. It's a little bit tough, no questions asked. But you know what? I want to give a big shout out to a new one here. We've got the medical device company to keep an eye on, and it's NView Medical. The ticker is FEED, F-E-E-D. The company is designing and markets a guided feeding tube platform to hospitals across the U.S. today. And the majority of hospitals do this procedure blindly. That leads to unavoidable injuries from misplacements. Think of this platform as a GPS for feeding tube placement, which can improve patient outcomes and streamline how care teams work. And this week, an independent study showcased significant safety, time and cost-saving benefits of NView's platform in a multi-hospital system. What stands out is the growing appetite for this platform throughout U.S. hospitals and how their tech fits right into clinical needs. Today, they are already in 40 hospitals. As hospitals push for safer and more efficient solutions, NView looks like a company building scalable technology with real-world demand behind it. Definitely one to watch. That's FEED over on the NASDAQ, which we are all familiar with. And speaking of the NASDAQ, stop me if you've heard this one before, but the train just keeps moving on and on and on. And what's impressive about this is, one day it'll be like Alphabet not doing too much, and you look at the Mag 7, like the big leaders that have been doing a lot of the work for the last couple of years, they'll be out of favor, and it doesn't seem to matter because there's just enough strength elsewhere that keeps this party rolling. While you have individual parabolic names, which make everyone start to think there's a bit of a top. But my first thought with this whole, well, they're not favorable with Alphabet, having to raise money this way, and they're supposed to be buying back, and you don't like when you dilute and all that stuff. If debt is going to be an issue, and companies needing capital and their access to it going to be a little bit more challenging, what's that going to mean for CoreWeave? Like if if you're punishing Google, CoreWeave gets to be up 2%. I wonder about that. Like that's the thing that'll get me. Okay, well if the canary's in that coal mine, there's a few other names out there that I think could be in a more precarious situation. I would put CoreWeave in that bucket. Also, we actually have an IPO today. It's not. Good. So we had mentioned. Well, it was me. I had said we have a couple of big ones, and usually when I say big, I just mean it's over $1 billion. That Quantum is 1.6 million tomorrow, and Iowa Holdings 2.3 million tomorrow. But there's also AADX, Applied Aerospace Defense. Probably guess why I'm bothering to bring it up, because aerospace and defense, right? So it's in a sector which at least is in play, and it's just under 800 million, and that will be today. It made the watch list. Just double check. Yeah, it's on the New York NYSE. So nice. They priced it at I see 20, so it looks like it's priced at 20. The range said 18 to 21, but priced at $20. We'll see. I mean, it's not at the billion mark. But it's in an interesting enough space if you want to be playing some IPOs. We have 1 week. You can get some reps in for the one that'll be bigger. That we're all excited for. Still haven't heard that definitive date, but we're still anticipating next week.
Yeah, it should be June 11th is the pricing, and then June 12th coming on. That's just Friday, June 12th. Yeah. So makes sense if that comes through. And then we'll wait to see what happens with SpaceX, and hopefully we'll be putting on some shares, and we'll see what that price comes out at. How many trillions of dollars will SpaceX come out? As I'm saying, it's going to be probably, once it hits the market, $3 trillion is my guess is. I think it'll be priced at, near that $2 trillion, and then it'll be at least, like if they price it at 300, I think it'll come out at 500 or 600. So yeah, you got to trade that accordingly as we go with SpaceX. Could be a fun one. All right, guys, let's go back to the desk and see what they're talking about back there.
I think given that it was the top of our watch list, it's already, I can see here at the top of the chat list here with the tickers. It's MRVL. That's the name that I expect we'll talk about a lot today. You'll likely see traded today as well. This thing closed more than 32% higher yesterday, and it's already up about 12% or so this morning. The Jensen Huang effect certainly taking place here for this stock here today, Sharif.
Yeah, now that the market cap is above $250 billion, we can now start speaking about S&P 500 inclusion, and that would be a major tailwind, obviously, as passive buying mimics or follows some of these indexes. But as we spoke about yesterday, there's a marked shift happening within this company. They're focusing less and less on application-specific integrated circuits, essentially a competitor to NVIDIA's GPU, and they're becoming more complementary to NVIDIA's supply chain. We spoke about them shifting away from GPU alternatives and prioritizing optical, prioritizing storage, custom switching silicon, all things that complement NVIDIA's supply chain, hence the the bromance there between the two CEOs. Let's see how it trades today. What a fantastic look.
And speaking of how it trades, Sharif, we're at 325 right now. Do you think there's a possibility of 350 today?
I don't know, Adara. We'll have to see what the technicals look like, but there's really no stopping this thing. I wouldn't be shorting it.
Yeah, indeed. We're going to have to wait and see, guys. We'll see you in I guess a minute or so here for that ADP employment change print. In the meantime, guys, quick thoughts on MRVL.
MRVL? Oh, boy. Yeah, I mean, Jensen's giving it the golden stamp of approval, obviously. Just continues to go higher here. I don't, I'm just enjoying the ride at this point. Like I got some out at 218 on earnings 2 days ago or 3 days ago, and it was right into here, and we thought we were doing pretty good getting out at that area, and now it's just popping through. He's already put on it. He put on its head like a bounty or something of $1 trillion here for MRVL. So we still have a quarter of that to go. As Adara said, yesterday we did this exact same sort of test here, and that was 190. Now it's 250. What's it going to be tomorrow? 275, and then 300, and then as we continue to go higher there on MRVL, I'm worried that it's getting frothy. But what the heck do I know about this, man? I'm just a simple trader and investor. So I'm going to keep on watching this bandwagon until it eventually slows down. And where to get out, I don't know. I mean, maybe we could get out, eventually if it does maybe break below $300. Not today, but, if that ever winds up happening, that could be a decent target to trim 5% more or something. But all right, we're going to go to Adair for numbers, then we can think about what we're doing.
I'll be quick here, guys. We have the monthly ADP employment change here. This is for the month of May. 120,000 is the forecast. 109,000 is the prior print. This is a week full of jobs-related data because we get unemployment and NFP on Friday. So just be aware here, guys. Coming in at 122,000, it's going to be a little bit above the forecast of 120,000. If you pull up the market here, not too much of a reaction to this print. Again, we don't have any data at 8:30, but at 9:45, we're going to get some S&P PMI. 10 a.m., you get ISM PMI, so stick with us. I believe we also have some Fed speak at 9 a.m. That's going to be Fed's Barr, who is a Fed governor and as such a voting member. Back to you.
Okay, well, there it is. There it is. Yeah. ADP National Jobs Report there, 4.4%, 122,000 jobs. There. The market seems to be reacting slightly to it. I mean, there's maybe that potential break now, as we were saying that we didn't really think about the short too much today because we kept on, pushing out higher lows as we kept on going. So we'll see what winds up happening right now. If we can break, in and around here. Remember, a lot of these numbers that we've had early have all battled back. Once the market opens up, even if it's a rip higher, it's come back in, and a move lower, it's come back higher. So yeah, it feels like that's pretty good there. ADP non-farm payroll for May, 122 versus 118. So non-farm employment change for May slightly higher. So not bad number there. But remember, we still wait for that jobs market, and the Fed's going to have to make decisions. And so it looks like a non-event right now for Fed, but the market is feeling a little bit of pressure there. I think there was some pressure on cuts as well, maybe. So this doesn't help that case, I guess.
I mean, we're still looking at rate hikes at the end of the year is still where the Fed tool is going to show, and it's kind of a flat labor market. Meh. That's not really going to move the needle. The concern's still going to be about inflation at this point, and getting the Strait opened up and getting past. And at least we don't have. At least it feels like we're talking less on headlines about Iran here. Maybe that getting quiet can help things. But we are starting to pull back a little bit for what it's worth, and jumping back over to MRVL. And this is just this kind of a chase. Yesterday, HPE ended up doing the actual profit take, and then this only did the profit take until 9:30. It just never filled in. It never filled in any portion of the gap. Was looking for something about the 10:30, let it make a bottom of the gap fill. I think that approach makes sense again. If it does, the examples would be what Snowflake did, and maybe Dell as well had a similar story. When it was gapping up. Dell's probably a better example because it was a little bit more recent, so we'll be able to show you. Dell just had its sell off after the gap up on earnings, and then just started holding. It held here just in front of 400, gave VWAP, and then just triple bottomed at that same level in front of the 400 level. This kind of a gap and trend down in the open range was kind of what I was expecting from MRVL yesterday. I'd look for that today. When you this much exuberance, sometimes you just get that heavy profit take, and then when it catches a bid, just look to play off that level later on in the session, and then you get this nice little run into the close like it did. So I'd wait for that on MRVL as exuberant as it's been. Dell actually pretty flat today. The only day that Dell isn't, well, you know what? Dell's not going to stay flat. Dell hasn't had less than a $40 or $50 day intraday since earnings. One way or another, this one has been a big-time mover. But flat for now as more of the interest goes over to MRVL.
And here's ARM still getting some eyeballs today as well. That's up another 2%. So we talked about, Dell, ARM, Intel, AMD, MRVL. All these names are the ones that just continue to. And we're not even talking about Micron. We've kind of left Micron by itself there. Look at this chart. Oh my, 497 sold some on AMD. I'm trying to do what I think is the right thing here and trim some of these positions as we continue to get this exuberant marketplace. But wow, AMD, slow down right there. And I want to trim and go into J&J. I've said that for a couple minutes here. I like the pipeline there, and this has just been getting hit. Healthcare names fallen way out of favor. It's like JP Morgan. Why the hell is JP Morgan trading at 13 times? There's going to be value here at some point once everything turns around. Obviously, people worried about private equity still. They're worried about, the amount of money that's been spent, in the oil, energy, consumers, potential defaults. But I don't know if that's going to be happening. And then you get names like Goldman Sachs that continue to just make all-time highs every single day, as they're not really in to that market as much and more deal making, big markets. So Goldman Sachs continues to, with Morgan Stanley, continues to impress to the upside. So I think it's get the best bank in the world and JP Morgan at quite the discount here. XLF eventually is going to start to pop. And this is not reminding me of MRVL. I don't think it doesn't have that move. Banks don't move like that. So we can't expect the same. All you can expect is to stash it and look back at JP Morgan in a little while, collect that 3-4% dividend. And I feel like JP Morgan is a very, very safe place right now to hide out. So that would be a little bit of a thought for myself. I have IREN and Google only right now, looking for a few more names. So let's go back over to Joe at the big screen.
All right, guys, good morning. Let's take a look at some of the options activity from yesterday's session. We're going to kick things off with Broadcom at this $500 marker, guys, going to be expiring this Friday. Now, we're sitting on a roughly $30 spread, open interest around 8,000 at that specific level, and then 16,300 contracts opened and closed on yesterday's session. Now, if we're going to be looking at our delta and our gamma, 007, my favorite number there, Sharif, at the money IV sitting at 123.1%. What does that mean? That means volatility is going to be priced into some of these options contracts. Now, moving forward, let's take a look at the contract itself. 229% in Broadcom on this specific $500 call in this span of 3 trading sessions. All right, guys, moving forward, let's take a look at the next contract here, and that is going to be SPCE. Small cap name here, $6 strike price, guys, going to be expiring in a couple of weeks. 37,000 contracts still open at this $6 marker, something that was in play for a couple of days here. Volume, 28,600 contracts open and closed on yesterday's session. And for a $6 name, guys, I mean, $6 spread, all right, that's not too bad. You can see your delta. It's roughly an at-the-money contract, $44 there, and then your gamma exposure is relatively high at $14. But something that we always have to keep our eye on is the implied volatility and how much volatility are we going to be paying within our premium. Now, if we want to talk about potential fall, or a big-time fall from grace, I should say, 84% of this contract lost its value on two bad sessions, I should say, guys. But you did have a substantial return from roughly 25 cents all the way up to $3.75, all right? Everybody said all the way up. All right, now, IBIT, guys, yes, we're going to be looking at this $35 strike price expiring in a couple of weeks. Now, this is on the put side of things. Where are we going to find a bottom in Bitcoin? Well, maybe here, guys, 61,000 contracts holding that floor level at that $35 strike price. Volume 32,900 open and closed on yesterday's session. Don't forget, open interest will stay throughout the duration of the lifespan of the contract, but volume resets every single day. Moving forward, we're sitting on a $3 spread there, guys. Delta sitting at that $19 mark, and then you have a $7 gamma. 43.5% at the money IV. Nothing crazy, but just watch out for a little bit more downside to this $35 marker, and we'll see how we hold up. Now, considering Bitcoin's been on a slide, you can see this specific put contract is appreciating in price from the tune of roughly around, we'll call it $17, all the way up to $50 plus. Keep an eye out. Let's see if these levels hold in some of these contracts.
Yes, sir.
Right, 35 for IBIT, okay.
Short till it's not. What if 35 is what? I'm trying to think.
Low.
That's 61 support. Think of it like, well, I mean, obviously 60,000 if you look here in February, but I guess like the 61 area support, like that makes a little bit of sense. And really, when something's trend down, like everyone always gets this concept easy when it's a long, right? Like, long into whatever the next resistance level is and then worry about it after you get there. Like, when we bounced off 60, it basically went into prior support, turn into resistance, so we're headed back down. Makes some sense you're headed to 60. Short till it's not, man. One of these days, IBIT will, have like an inside day, or, the morning, the short works a couple times, then it ends up bouncing higher, like you did that a couple of days before resuming downtrend. Or you'll have like a false breakout kind of day. Like it'll do something different at some point, but the last couple of sessions have just been fall down all day long, maybe catch a bit at noon, and it's only half a day. Yesterday was the entirety of the day, so look to short some pops. And for resistances at 38.6 and 38.25, those are the first two levels I'll be looking at. And I hate to say it, but it's not that we were making fun of Virgin Galactic. It's just that when there was all the exuberance and, I guess, follow trade over in the space names, well, these guys didn't really, they're the only one, well, not the only one, but they're the one that had a monster outsized move without any kind of a reasonable business going forward, and it just didn't make a lot of sense. Now you're back at like $4. You still, well, $4.30, but you still have a little bit of ways to go from where this all started. Like the day before the volume spike, like the volume spike, you're at the lows right now, $4.40. The day before that, support was at $3.50. That seems like a reasonable place to look for this thing to settle down. Like before all of this two-day exuberance came in, I think the 350 level at least gives you something to work off of with Virgin Galactic. But it just goes to show, when you have a move which is, it's just a particular industry, a particular sector that's getting pulled along with something, it's very, very dangerous to sort of get wrapped up at the tail end of it, especially with the types of companies that have the weakest fundamentals in the group. Those are the ones with the heaviest risk. Like you're probably not going to lose half in 2 days in Rocket Labs. Could Rocket Labs or ASTS pull back 50%? Sure they could. Is it going to happen in 2 days? Probably not. It was low-hanging fruit to say it was going to be Virgin Galactic. Nothing against them. It's just kind of how it is. But that 350 at least gives you something to look to from before the mess started.
All right, here, I just put it out right now. Good morning, traders. Another day here with MRVL, but looking for some trade setups. What are you guys looking for today? So we'll put that there in the chat. Head over to @TraderTV, Sean, and give me some ideas on what we're trying to do here today. Joe just gave us a little bit there with some options plays. There's going to be some upgrades and downgrades today. Here's IBIT. I mean, Neil just covered it, so whatever. We don't have to worry too much about that. I was looking at, want to get some trading names. We want names that have some decent volume to it today. I mean, Intel's up 6% again. Like some of these names just continue to impress, right? When you think that they're beat up, and I shouldn't have said again because it's been getting hit, but it's just like, again, this is happening. Like there's the move down, here's the pop, here's the move down, here's the pop. So like this 105 area for Intel, it's called 100, between 100 to 105 there, looking pretty good for a little bit of a base, right? I mean, again, another name that stood silent for a while before it went. And Intel right now catching another bid up 6%. So we'll see if that continues to make for an interesting trade. I like Intel up at these levels, believe it or not. Try to play some momentum to the high side. Yesterday we had Nvidia take a little bit of a dip, and I was kind of surprised. We went into the 221 area. This is an area that we were looking at yesterday to pick up. So 223, we had that on our note, but it was pretty choppy yesterday into the close, right? I mean, nice move up, nice move down even more. And this is that 221 area that we're talking about. Then those imbalances hit, and we kind of climb back up into the 223, 224 area. So Nvidia is also an interesting name, but these are all chalk names, right? These are all names that, we always look at every single day. CoreWeave, I mean, if debt's going to be a problem for Google, then I am slightly worried about what debt looks like for CoreWeave and some of these other names that have taken on a bunch to sort of start these build-outs. Not even, a profitable name, but CoreWeave continues to hold out some of those highs. So potentially a trade happening today in CoreWeave. And I'm looking downside. If people are hitting Google, I don't know why they're not hitting CoreWeave. And look what happened there yesterday, from 132 all the way down to 118, 119, getting a little bit of a bump here today. What about a 124 to 125 area short right into here where we were all fun and games and then we lost it and then we couldn't break back above? So 124 could play there for CoreWeave. I mean, just a couple different names happening, and there's going to be other ones. Obviously, I see people in the chat right now. ARM, AMD, what's up? Other Zinc. You want to look at CJ Handler, target for Microsoft. Look, the thing about Microsoft, again, it's kind of broke out, right? It tried to break out through this 430, and it did. So I don't want to take yesterday's sort of negative news back into the downside. I mean, we saw a lot of names like a Palantir get hit yesterday. We saw some software names, CRM getting hit, ServiceNow getting hit yesterday. And they were on nice runs, right? And so here's Microsoft right now trying to do the same thing, trying to break a little higher. I still like Azure. I mean, if we're going to talk about the cloud, then Microsoft is huge still. And I like what they're doing. They didn't report this straight number like Amazon or Google did. They gave a little bit of pause. And there's a lot of people that were concerned about where that growth was coming for Microsoft. And then again, Windows, right? But you're still using Windows, and no matter what, I don't think Claude is going to be coming for that business model too much. So I do like Microsoft. I think there's a couple levers for them to push as well to get going back up to the upside. But if we're talking about a price target today, I don't, it's down today. I thought the market, I don't really want to short this market, I was saying, but look what we're seeing right now. It's a pretty big pullback into this market. So for me on Microsoft, the fact that VWAP is still here at 440 to 441, I think we look to see if we can hold that. If not, then yeah, we'll push that short in Microsoft. And if you're trying to get long something, I mean, a lot of traders missed the boat there on Softy. So I think between 400 to 420 is where you'll see some buyers, some buyer remorse. Like people that didn't get that will start to fit in, right? So that FOMO trade, people will start to buy in and around this 50-period moving average just because of how well it held here for about a month and a half. So I like Microsoft down here, low 400s, and thank you for asking on that one. All right, 8:30 right now. Let's go back over and see what else is up. We still have upgrades and downgrades to hit as well.
I want to talk quickly here about FEED. Thank you very much to our friends at NVU Medical. They do have some announcements that came out, as you can see on the chart here, about 10 or 15 minutes ago, so let's go over it. NU Medical, which as you know, trades on the NASDAQ under the ticker FEED or FEED. They just announced that an independent peer-reviewed study published in the official American Association of Critical Care Nurses Journal found that the company's feeding tube navigation platform reduced ventilator-associated pneumonia by 67%. Also, apparently, this treatment eliminated accidental lung placements and generated an estimated $1.5 million in hospital cost savings during the first year of use. So here's a look there on FEED. Let's talk here about crypto, Sharif, because we know that Bitcoin got hit pretty hard yesterday, actually briefly testing that 65,000 level or just above that level early this morning. And we're below 70K. Can we get back above?
Yeah, this is a really, really aggressive sell-off, Adair. $1.8 billion in forced liquidations across all the crypto derivatives, and that is within 24 hours, the largest single-day futures capitulation since February. So not an understatement there, and we've been seeing as well pressure on the spot Bitcoin ETFs. They're enduring an unprecedented 12-day session streak of net redemptions, bleeding about $4 billion in capital off those ETFs since about middle of May. So, a couple of weeks now, a few weeks. A massive psychological support pillar also fractured when the corporate Treasury giant Strategy quietly kind of disclosed that they sold about $2.5 million of Bitcoin holdings, marking the first net divestment since late 2022. So, a lot of, kind of the perfect storm setting up. And then you have analysts thinking, look, they're trying to say that retail is selling here, but it's showing more that institutions are selling. The view analysts are taking is SpaceX IPO is coming up. Anthropic, possibly OpenAI, you need cash in order to be able to hoard into those IPOs. I happen not to really believe that narrative. I don't think we're seeing $1.8 billion in forced liquidations from retail. We'll have to see if this can recover, Adara.
Let's talk quickly here about Navitas as well. NVTS, this news just coming out here. The company is going to be showcasing its 800V to 6V power delivery board inside of Nvidia's AI Factory MGX ecosystem at Computex this week. The keynotes at Computex are over. They concluded last night, but the event itself doesn't end till Friday. So good look here for NVTS.
Yeah, this one looks like it's going to be a decent mover taste. Not even done 1 million shares, but given the fact that it sold off yesterday, could give it a little bit more juice. Maybe just less people that are going to be on the offer. The thing about a runner is if you've gotten people out of it recently, some longs, and maybe engage some shorts when it started to come back in, it does give you that chance of less people sitting on the offer as it goes up. And obviously, if there's any shorts that have piled in the last couple of sessions, well, it's been weaker. I'm not saying they have to cover, but then them covering is going to give it some juice to be able to go. But it is running into some resistance up at that 29 level. As we said with IBID, the narrative, I feel like one thing that you'll get a lot of is, okay, well, this has been going up for a couple of days, or this is gapped up or gapped down. Let's come up with the narrative for it. As Chief said, maybe you can have some people say that you need to have these liquidations. People are freeing up money for the big IPOs. Does it really matter? Like, the chart's speaking for itself, right? Like, we had a bounce off 60K. We can all see where it went to. Like, this was about structurally as obvious as I suppose it could have been. It went right into a prior low. That held like an absolute champion. I think it was a couple of weeks ago on a Friday or whatever it was, a couple of weeks ago, where it broke that trend. And since then, it's just been short. Hey, you're at some kind of a potential bounce level. Show me the day that the bounce level holds. Maybe there's a little bit more room to go. And that'll be the day that we'll get more bullish, or the day after. Because I just feel like you've been right shorting pops here, and you look at what's been going on, and I think BMNR was like a good pivot because Bitcoin didn't give you any kind of an open at resistance where this did. So it was like handing from one to the other to go short. You could be shorting MSTR as well. Like, the whole space has been working for you. That said, Robinhood, relatively speaking, held up a little bit better. So that one I wouldn't be shorting. Okay, so yesterday, I was thinking the option thing was going to have MRVL in it. I was wrong. I thought the upgrade board was going to have MRVL in it. But if I just keep saying that it's going to be on the board, then somebody probably upgraded it today. Let's find out with Joe.
I guess we'll find out momentarily here, Neil. All right, guys, let's take a look at some of the analyst actions here this morning. We're going to kick things off with some downgrades, guys. Dollar General at the top of our list, getting a price target decrease from $155 to $145 by Raymond James. And then we also have Ulta Beauty, a stock that reported earnings, overweight rating, but reducing its price target by $125 as Piper Sandler, $725 to $600. And then we also have Shake Shack. Adara was talking about this yesterday. We're down about 0.9%, a little bit more than that, guys, going from a strong buy to an outperform. So a downgrade there, but still an outperform rating within the sector. $85 is going to be that price target, coming down from $125 by Raymond James. Now, Chipotle Mexican Grill down 1.2% here, guys, going from an overweight to an equal weight with a $39 price target, coming down from $49 at Morgan Stanley. Moving forward, yes, Neil, finally, we got MRVL on the list. We may as well start there. We're up about 12.5% here, guys. Price target increased by RBC from $240 to $360. Now, taking a step back, GitLab, another earnings name here, guys, B of A, giving them the nod, increasing its price target to $32, coming from $27. Now, Palo Alto Networks, we have PANW, outperform rating here, guys, and a price target increase from $320 to $375. We're down about 3.4% here this morning. Evercore ISI giving them the nod. And then we have Yum Brands of 1.3%, going from equal weight to overweight, and then also increasing its price target from $85 from $180 at Morgan Stanley. Guys, let's send it back to Neil and Sean.
Well, we know Hamster in the chat isn't a fan of Shake Shack. Straight up, he's like, let's be honest, no one likes Shake Shack burgers if given a choice. I don't know. I've never had. I can't judge. So I've never had it before. But when was the last time? Okay, so I quickly looked it up because anecdotally in my head, GitLab is always down after earnings. So I just asked Gemini, and apparently the last time it was up directly following an earnings release, I find this hard to believe, but was September of 2024.
That's accurate.
Wow. Okay, so Adara even said immediately that's accurate. So the stock is almost always down. It's 2 years running. It has just gone down after earnings, and it does the old, hey, we'll pop, we'll fade, it catches an upgrade. I might add this to the list. It's like, it closed at 31.8, so it closed down here. This is the aftermarket move on earnings. It closed down here, pretty much at the low, giving you support. So even any pop up, that would be a short back into prior support on GitLab around like the 31 to 31.5. So if we do get a move up, I'm thinking GitLab ends up being a bit of a fade. I mean, you have the structure of the trade. And then you have the history that in the last 2 years it just flat out doesn't do it, get green. So yeah, I'll look for that on GitLab for sure. It's probably it's like the 4 times of the year that we look at the stock, right? Like every time they report and then go back to ignoring them after.
Yep, exactly. And people aren't ignoring their suggestions on here. I asked you guys, what are you looking for? And we got a couple of responses right there. Andrew says he's going to hold his money until SpaceX. And then I said, then what? Are you going to buy SpaceX IPO? What are you trying to do right there? Lucy talking about BlackBerry and MRVL. So I was like, oh, you like to see the movers that are going on there. Chris likes Tesla in the 416 area. We could definitely have a look over there. I've got IREN up here. Pedro talking about Netflix. Shareholders meeting apparently coming through soon for Netflix. So we'll see tomorrow is what we're going on there for Pedro. So I don't know if we can confirm that or not, Adair, but shareholder meeting tomorrow for Netflix. She's looking into it right there. Brian, you and I, the same thing there. I like IREN long at 68, so I want to thank you for sharing that one there. Short NQs. This is what I was saying yesterday, waiting for that market. It's too strong. So we learned our lesson yesterday. We don't want to keep shorting it. We want to wait for the pullbacks, and that's what Pops Mafia said. Buy the dips after the first 15 minutes there. Mike Peter Riders here, USAR. And I was like, yeah, USAR moving nicely right there. But yeah, I'm going to have IREN on my mind today. I said get it into the $68 mark. We'll see what winds up happening if it does fall into there. There's where the 200 period moving average is. I like 68. It was the top right into there. You know, maybe even 68.50 is not a horrible. That's where your 50 period moving average, or sorry, your 200 period moving average is right now. So IREN, with their move into Asian Pacific market, now with a deal in Australia, I like IREN going long there today. Let's see if we can hold on to enough shares to make that one something special. So we'll wait to see IREN today, something that I'm looking at. And then USAR on some news, up 32 bucks. And was trying to get going even more than that. I thought, yeah, there it goes. So 32 got up to 32.50 there from 30 bucks. So here we go, man, as some of these rare earth plays and whatnot start to keep going a little higher here. U.S. rare earth trying to tick out. And we've been here before, so watch out, Mike, and anybody else that's trading this name at 33 bucks. It's been sort of the temporary pop spot right there. We faded it back in October. Then we got hit back in January on the same move. So, wow, like, you know, again, well traded. Just goes to show you, man, we don't need to always be in the Marvells and the ARMs and the Dells of the world and HPEs. There's many other names, like this name back in April, $14. It's a double up right there. You can put 100% on USAR's head right now. I'm going to throw it back before I sneeze.
Bless you.
Almost.
Almost.
I tried to give Andre a heads up there, but we got it.
It happens. We're live. There's small cappers.
Oh, we're finally live.
I know. I saw some people in the chat. There were a couple asking if there are any like small cappers that are looking spicy. You have that Picard's doing volume again. That PMI is going to be out there. XOS is a small capper that's making some moves. Gapped up like it's done 14 million shares. Underneath you up. Not much that I saw above that volume weighted average price. So if you're looking for gappers, I mean, that Navitas is still running. No, I mean, it's pricier, like 29 bucks currently. But if you're looking for gappers, like beggars can't always be choosers. There's certainly a lot out there, and we'll keep our ear to the ground, of course, for any other ones that we can find. And one, I suppose we'll probably go over this in the rundown. Creeping back to VWAP is GameStop. So an oldie, but some would say a goodie, I suppose, with their surprise earnings out there. And don't forget, the whole story that now they got this interesting juxtaposition going on. Well, if the stock price needs to go higher to get eBay, but if the stock price goes lower, then you got the floor with the buyback that they announced. That makes it pretty spicy for them. And eBay doing a bit of a dip buy. I don't wonder if this becomes like an interesting, like buy the dip play here on eBay. I still don't think the deal's happening, but you know, it was an uptrend anyway. So if you get a chance to buy the dip there, then there's the chance of a potential deal. It kind of gives you something to work with. We got a super chat from Pack Rick. Okay, please do a query on SpaceX IPO impact on the Qs, Tesla, TSLL. Well, the sentiment goes, the theory goes like this with like major IPOs. One of the reasons why you get more IPOs have gotten pushed back, ones that we thought were coming at the beginning of the year or maybe later on in the session. I'll just pull up Tesla while we're talking about it. And why you're getting them pushed back was, well, you want to do it in a market that's exuberant, market at the highs, where everyone's rushing to capital, looking for new opportunities in the next wave. So it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy that major IPOs can lead to sector tops, because you try to get it out there while the iron is hot. So it's a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy there. The other side of the coin is just how big this IPO is going to be. The simple fact that they're changing some rules to get it into the S&P 500 as quick as possible, so a lot of people have to track. It creates some forced buying in the first couple of months. Not on the first day necessarily, but in the first couple of months, as if it does get into the index pretty much ASAP, then you're going to get some passive buying, which props it up at a pretty huge valuation. And if that's the case, and fund managers are having to buy that, there are probably going to be some sells that go along with it. So that's a bit of the theory. As far as Tesla goes, I think the Tesla thing is more about how much do you believe they could eventually merge? I don't know how to put a percentage on that. Like some people have said, I think I heard Dan Ives say it was like a better than 50% chance, or somebody like that. I don't know. That's a tough one to look at, but I think it's non-zero. And I think as a Tesla shareholder, it's the kind of thing that you can look forward to, saying, okay, well, I'm already kind of priced in a decent chance that this could be a merger in one company within a year or so, but I don't think it's remotely certain at all. And I wouldn't know how you put any kind of a premium on Tesla because of that. It would, it's not the end of the world if it happens, if you happen to get a piece of the pie that way. But to me, the IPO is just a trade. I don't want to own it. At the valuation it's going to come out at, not even close, but I suppose if it dipped far enough, sure. A little more excited for Anthropic myself when it comes to actually investing in one of these companies.
I want to thank Nicole over here. We're going to get to PANW. Don't worry, my guy over there. What's up, Nicole? Thank you so much for becoming a member. Love having this group, and you can go in, get Sharif's morning note now once you become a member as well. That's available. Link in description for everything. So just go over there, and if you are a member, you get to put some of these cool emojis, which I don't really see anybody using right now. Not those ones, but there's different ones that are available, and we want to thank Nicole for becoming a member there today. And yeah, we saw that super chat about PANW. We'll go over that. Obviously, a little disappointing off of what we saw in the post market yesterday. As this just ripped up like crazy through. As soon as those numbers hit, man, it really took off. But we're going to get to that story. Don't want to bury the lead. It will be on our rundown, so pay attention. 9 o'clock, when we'll have our rundown, we'll start talking about PANW, or maybe even earlier, who knows. But I've added GameStop to my sticky note as well. Just trying to see if we can get back into $22. I don't think that winds up happening. We've seen so many times hit through here with this $20 to $21 buy area, and it came in once again. So, I really like GameStop over here. We'll see if it continues to work. The 2 billion share buyback, very important as well for that. So, there it is. Here's someone with all these emojis that you can show up here. These faces and whatnot. There's a whole bunch of them right there. Sharif Brendo back tomorrow as well. I don't know what this one is.
What's the third one from the right?
This one? I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what any of these ones. I don't know what that one is. I don't know what that one is.
No, that's the last one's the chef.
Chef, what chef?
We used to have one with a button where you're grilling. Remember?
Oh, okay. So that's that.
Chef hat. That's
I
that
still have that one here. Yeah, okay. It's this one.
But I don't know it's the third one I can't figure out. The third one from the right.
Yeah, this one. I don't know what it is. All right, yeah, maybe we'll get some NVTS on that sticky note, but I tell you, we've got another super chat coming through there.
Yeah, so thank you, JKL there, and
Navitas.
Has AJ Brown in New England overvalued? You're not going to see me disagree with that. I obviously am biased though. The RSI is interesting. It was retesting 80 on the daily, just as it did when MSTR began my swing short on the Qs yesterday. So you like a bit of a temporary top there. I love the reference. It makes, there's some sense to be had that we're getting a little bit frothy. You're not gonna, how much pullback can you get from an Alphabet here before you're starting to consider that the market's getting a little bit toppy? We're just gonna continue to get dragged along by the chips every single day. Can MU do this? Can Nvidia hold up well enough? Can this group really pull us this far? I tend to believe that at some point you're going to get, and some point soon, we're getting a little bit top heavy. We got to have one of those little healthy pullbacks. It does make a ton of sense to me. You look at the weakness that even Meta's been having. recently. Like it's precarious. Like Meta's in a pretty precarious situation here with this shelf. You know, like one thing breaks wrong, you lose that shelf, you don't get a strong chip day, and we could have ourselves one of those 2% days that we have not had in quite some time. AJ Brown also has a knee issue, which that's why they didn't give him an extension in Philly. So I never wish any athlete, I wish them all the best in New England, but I just hope they don't win a lot of games. Go Bills.
I wanted to mention here this Netflix talk. We're talking about the Netflix shareholder meeting. I did look into it. It's tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, or sorry, 3 p.m. Pacific, which means it's actually going to be after the bell tomorrow because it'll be 6 p.m. Eastern. So there is a Netflix shareholder meeting. It will not be during market hours, but I did want to just clarify that for everybody because I know that was mentioned. USO has also been mentioned, I believe, and I think for a really good reason, as unfortunately the conflict here and the uncertainty in the situation between the U.S. and Iran continues. We unfortunately had some drone strikes from Iran and Kuwait. We have President Trump saying Iran's agreed to a nuclear deal. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, 13 drones intercepted actually 13 missiles intercepted by Kuwait and 17 drones their time, I think about 8 hours ago. Also, you have the expansion of the conflict and the insistence on not separating the Lebanon-Israeli conflict from the U.S. Israeli-Iran conflict, the Iranians making that a sticking point in the negotiations. See if that continues to be a possible constraint on peace. This morning, though, you had some positivity, I guess. President Trump saying that the Iranians were willing to make concessions on their nuclear program. Still unclear if the Iranians are going to sort of echo that sentiment. I doubt that they will. But again, guys, as we've been talking about, headline-driven trade. Let's see what comes out today, Dara.
Speaking of which, Sharif, we already actually just got a new headline, this populating less than a minute ago. IAEA, or the International Atomic Energy Agency, saying that they think the nuclear risk from Iran is actually higher now than it was when the attacks began. So basically, the IAEA saying that there's probably now a greater concern of Iran with a nuclear attack than there was before this conflict started, which again was supposed to be stopping Iran from having a nuclear attack. So kind of concerning headline there from IAEA. Again, that is the International Atomic Energy Agency. Back to you.
Okay, well, at least what we should say about that is we can calm ourselves with the nuclear attack thing. So an infinitesimally small probability got possibly a little bit larger. Right? So like it's like, you know, it's like the whole doomsday clock is at 11:50 whatever. Like the doomsday clock is always at 11:50 something. It's never at 6. It's never at 7.
Yeah,
it's never 8 a.m. As long as that thing has existed, we've literally been at 11:50 whatever. So it's all in context before we start freaking out. But there's got to be a little concern. We're just talking about the potential pullbacks for the market. Well, here's another issue. You just basically resumed back to normal uptrend on USO. Like we had a pullback, we lost the 50, it looked like we broke trend, and now we're coming right back to maybe retest some highs, as if, you know, like that 138 that felt like a pretty good safe, 139 on USO that felt like a pretty good safe resistance level. We've gapped through it. If we end up losing this, oh yeah, like I'll feel way better about, you know, we lose the 139 today, trend back down. I think that's going to buoy some of the long side. But like for the crypto potentially short, like as long as we're holding above, like Bitcoin has to show me something to not be the short here today. That's for sure. So yeah, this 139 is worth watching. It's just the key level on USO for me, and I like to play off of those where it's sort of obvious. Like when you make a high like this, that's a good place to maybe look for some longs. You like a couple stocks that are on your list for a long. It's a good place to dip by. It can't always be getting VWAP. Sometimes it's a trend break because a leading indicator gets to a resistance or support. So I'd look for that to initially be support. Would love to see it break through, and that make the long a little bit better for sure. So yeah, it's always going to be headline driven. So outside of looking for reaction at one particular price level, you're just waiting for the next headline anyways. And I don't plan on trading USO per se.
I was going to say, you know, just looking at some of the companies that are involved here, like you're getting close to a slippery slope here with some of these names. I mean, considering, I always say this, like considering where oil is, I'm actually surprised that we're not doing much better than this, but we've held this 145. Now, I don't think we're necessarily going to lose this level, but that's the warning shot. right now that if you're in XOM or CVX, I mean, you don't necessarily want to be in these names just for the dividend. The dividend's fine, obviously. You want to make sure that you're part of the right space when the move happens, and oil's happened already. So buying this name down here at the 100 to 110 area was great, and I know Randy was a big proponent of buying oil in and around those levels. So congratulations on that one. I just get a little nervous, man. You're underneath the 50-period moving average right now, and the dividend's fine, like I said, 3 or 4%, but these guys can lose capital appreciation on the stock side of it pretty quickly. CVX, same, almost the exact same look as we've been holding out at these levels right there. So hopefully we can break higher and get going on CVX and on XOM. But I still like Valero. Occidental might be the name that moves a little bit more than the rest of them. And you can see where this is on the daily chart. This looks like we're trying to break actually higher. So, many of those other names are hovering below the 50-period moving average. The reason why we bring up Occidental is if you're going to buy, and that's why I said about the dividend, if you're going to buy XOM or CVX and you want a little bit more juice to that trade, I think Occidental is where you'd want to be for that. I'm in the XLE. And I mean, I'm also in XOM, but it's very, very small. I'm in Enbridge in Canada, but I really like the XLE, and it's kind of the same thing, man. I mean, we had these huge moves. Oh yeah, not split adjusted, that's fine. We have to watch out for these tops again to come through. I think I'm gonna sell next time we get up into this area. If we can get to a 61 or 62 print here on XLE, I think I'm gonna dump it and re-weight it to something else. Like I said, I like the healthcare space, I like financials as well, but XLE's had quite a nice run and just kind of sitting around waiting for something to do. Reminds me of silver and gold and all that right now that aren't really making huge moves, that were the talk of the town just a couple months ago, as gold and silver breaking all these new levels. And silver, we couldn't get enough of SLV or ZSL and all those kind of things. And right now, that was during this sort of run up there in late January, early February. And now you've come back in and you're kind of holding. I really think SLV is about to pop, man. I mean, this industrial metal, I think it works in this space. It's going to be very sensitive to US dollar and to interest rates. So, we're waiting for decisions of those to come through. But yeah, I really think silver has a great opportunity to get going here. Holding that 200-period moving average, came back in, bounced, looks pretty stable right now. I don't really see reasons for this thing to go downside. So I like SLV more than the energy space. So that's something there. And I'm going to get the sticky note out in just a matter of minutes. It's 8:57. Make sure you do check the link in description. We're about to go over our watch list, which is packed today, full of names.
Oh yeah, busy one.
Yeah, very, very busy one. Busy one every day, really.
Well,
I mean,
yeah, it's
there's the small cap runs. There's the NVTS. I mean, we're just seeing this name continue to go higher here. Navitas. Maybe it's pulling back. Was it 33 when I just last looked at it there? Yeah, so there was, wow, okay, decent memory. It was only 3 minutes ago. $33 now coming back in. Remember, there's going to be no halts here in the pre-market unless it's requested by the company or something. So we're going to have to wait to see when this name opens up. $26 straight to 33. And look what we're doing right there, Navitas. Adair, do we know the story with this? It's probably, I said it might have been on our watch list, and I didn't. Go ahead.
It's not on our watch list because it came out after the watch list came out. I think it came out at around 8:30.
Yeah, 8:30, yeah.
They have a Computex tie-up here. So Nvidia-related, Computex-related headline.
All right, man. Another company that gets a Computex bump there, and that's in Taipei, isn't it, or something? Yeah, Taipei. So that's the place that people are getting Taipei to be long anything in the tech space. Thank you. I'm here all day. Getting paid off there in this name there. So NVTS, man. Only if we had some of those, pre-written speeches, we know what companies are going to get talked about and or questioned there. But I did know, Adair and I talked about MRVL last week. I mean, the minute that she told me that Matt Murphy was going on stage there, I was like, this is MRVL's run time. And that's been happening right there as well. Thank you so much, Randy. That only means one thing. We don't even have to see Randy.
No, they've been faking us out lately.
There, yeah. So
way too many times we're using the Randy notification, and then there'll be nobody behind.
Yeah, they're faking.
You get whiplash.
Randy's in shorts today, so it's
gonna be 28.
Shorts kind of day. Yeah, it's gonna be gorgeous outside.
Oh, that's even better.
There today, and of course I was in short sleeves all week, and today I wear the long sleeves. It's cold. Oh, there's Randy again.
Okay.
Yeah, forever around.
It spins
right
away.
There. Okay, guys. Sticky notes coming out very, very soon. If I keep talking, I can't get it done, so let's throw it back over to the desk.
Yeah, we'll get into that rundown in a second here. In the meantime, I want to talk here quickly. This is, again, the Navitas headline. I mentioned it, but yeah, collaborating with MGX ecosystem to accelerate 800 VDC AI infrastructure. Now, I guess we'll get right here into that morning rundown, starting with some futures talk with Sharif.
Yeah, 759 3/4, guys, is where we closed out yesterday on the SPY. We're down 1/5% right now, but 759 3/4. What is that on the door of? 760. We're still rejecting that multi-day resistance level off which we've rejected a few times now. So we're about $2 and change below it. Let's say 760 again as that resistance level 1 if we don't clear through it. If we clear through it, we're looking at 765, all right? If we sell off, we're looking at 755. We held that level well over the past couple of days as support. If that fails, we're looking at 750 Adara as support level 2.
In the meantime, we're looking at our Trader TV Live watch list here. So the rundown is often going to be based on what we have here in the watch list. It comes out before 8 a.m., before we go live every single day. There are news events, there are earnings reports, there are things that could be happening today, that are happening today, that are happening within the week. How do you find it all? Again, guys, its link is in the description. Trader TV Live watch list. Now, of course, one name we're all watching, one name that I know Sean is watching and has mentioned a couple of times already this morning, MRVL. MRVL looking pretty marvelous this morning as this rally here on the Jensen Huang Matt Murphy Computex keynote continues.
Yes, and the prospects now of being included in the heavyweight division known as the S&P 500. Now that the market cap's worked above $250 billion, we shall see if they will be included in the next opportunity. But as we've been talking about, this company is really shifting focus now, competing less with Nvidia, becoming more complementary, whether you're talking about networking, you're talking about optics, storage, custom switching, all different segments that help Nvidia further its goal rather than competing with it. We'll have to see if they divest a lot of the efforts that they had in application-specific integrated circuits to kind of take on that supply chain role, Adara.
Yeah, do you guys think MRVL can continue here today?
We want to remind everybody that this hour is brought to you by Centerpoint Securities. Centerpoint gives you access to an extensive, easy-to-borrow list from multiple locate sources alongside a trading platform designed specifically for active day traders. Please visit centerpointsecurities.ca/TraderTV and try it today. And guess what? We're giving you 90 days of commission-free trading. This is a special promotion for everyone watching here live at Trader TV. So make sure you do scan that QR code right there on our screen and check that link in description because it's Centerpoint Securities. I want to thank them for sponsoring this hour. And hey, man, you may be going back and forth with MRVL, and that's where that 90-day commission-free comes into play because MRVL is once again, as Adara said, quite the marvelous stock today. It's not, this is not Captain Marvel here. This is something that just makes sense, honestly. Jensen's talked about this. We've talked about it. I've talked about it. It's the #1 pick here. We made that pick back. I keep showing this thing because we made the pick. We might as well toot our own horn here. Why not? There it is right here. We made MRVL back in January. The #1 pick for myself here on the board. Everything else down. BBAI is down since January 2nd. Eli Lilly, but there's MRVL. We've really liked that stock. We've held it for a while here in the portfolio. And honestly, man, I just believe Matt Murphy. I believe the CEO. I was talking about that, heard it on Kramer, heard him on there many times, started to buy it in my own account. And it's just really ripping to the high side right now, MRVL. And it's all part of the same ecosystem here, right? I mean, this tech trade continues to work out. As long as these builds start to happen, you need pieces of the puzzle, and MRVL is that. We talked about the GPUs sort of being the brain, of this whole infrastructure and this whole system. Well, you need connections there, and MRVL is the one that's in there. Photonics, we got the custom ASICs as well going through, the copper transfer of data. And then Jensen's coming out there, the king of the castle here, leading this whole AI race and calling MRVL extremely undervalued. And he made that call, 2 days ago when we were at $200. It had a $200 billion market cap on it. He said it's the next $1 trillion company. So 5x from there, and we're starting that ramp up right now. You can make, any individual can make a call, whatever they want. Jensen obviously has invested in MRVL as well with Nvidia. I just really like the stock, and I think that, you know, it's going to continue to do these moves. And yesterday, you know, it was tough to trade yesterday. We didn't really look at it right away, but it had that first dip, and then there was really nothing else. I mean, you had a little bit of a pullback right there into VWAP at 10 o'clock. Then there's a little bit of a pullback there, and then it kind of just hung out all afternoon. Didn't get into VWAP. Could have been, oh, that's the big gap overnight. Could have been, let me zoom in a little bit more here just to show you guys one more play, and then we'll go back to it. Zoom, 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 zoom. Now we're zooming in too much. Zoom back out. I'm just trying to avoid that candle for the day. So here it is, the 200 period. This is where it might have fooled you, because a break lower, and it did work, man. That was 283 down to 282. Actually, that's 284 basically. That's only $2 right there on 300. It's not huge. And then we just sort of took off right there into the close and played some momentum. So I just want to follow. This is a 25 period moving average right there. We followed that pretty much from 3 o'clock right into the close. So right now, this is a problem because MRVL's highs, and there's no news today on MRVL, really. You know, I mean, every day there's going to be little tidbits, but there's nothing significant about it. This is just a flow through. Yesterday we had that chat up, and it was someone thank you very much, by the way, for the super chat yesterday, but it was MRVL, when's we getting to $300? We had it written down on Friday. I said it'll be here by the time we open up tomorrow. And so there it goes, man. Not only that, we closed at 290. So you have a big sort of a gap up here. Do I think we can fill that gap? Yes, I actually do. I have MRVL written down, and I'm just going to push send on the sticky note in a second, down here to $300. I just want to see, that's not the close. This is 5 o'clock. So we closed yesterday at 290. So can MRVL continue to fall down? Yes. Why? Because new high there, right? That's brand new all-time high. Then we couldn't get back to it. Right, we tried to make a move there. We made a move down. We tried to make another move. We did not break the previous high as well. There's another non-break, and there's another high, lower high. So there's your high. There's a lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. And unfortunately, we maybe keep on going a little lower. So watch out for a little bit of a break here early on MRVL. And then obviously we wait out for the imbalances as well, right, at 925.
Catch a sell imbalance?
If it's a sell imbalance, you can get down to 3 bills. So I'm going to sit at MRVL, wait to see what happens around $300. And it does suck for it to lose that. But hey, man, this stock was $195 4 days ago. So I could definitely see MRVL giving some back. We're going to watch it around 3 bills.
Yeah, for this one, I had a level that yesterday in the morning was like, okay, take a spot, look for the dip buy to cut into some of that gap. And then that downward trend got broken right away at 9:30. I want to feel the same way. Like I want to let it hold this downtrend and then eventually just let it break the downtrend and then go for it at that point. Don't want to be top picking anything. Don't want to be looking at breakout trades here, not when something is up this much. So it did it yesterday and it did turn right at effectively 9:30. It did psych you out potentially at 9:25, but I don't want anything in the pre-market. So a trend break after the market opens on MRVL, and that'll be the way to go. But MRVL again, GameStop, wow. Is it a wow? Yeah, I guess it's a wow because it wasn't expected, and hey, buybacks are a good thing. Usually a good thing. I mean, not everybody thinks they're a good thing, but usually buybacks can be a good thing. And in the particular case of GameStop, I think there's some bulls out there that are looking for some excuses to rally. So let's get the full story.
Not only a buyback here, but also a pretty solid quarterly report as well here for GME. This name, of course, in the spotlight recently with Ryan Cohen trying to buy eBay. This report, though, pretty good look, especially if you're already bullish and long GME here.
Yeah, let's get into some of the details, Adara, because there's a lot of financial engineering here. So record-breaking $389.5 million in profit. That is a record for the company, and a $2 billion share buyback program. But let's dig a little deeper to see how they got to those numbers. 268.5 of that 389.6 is basically money that they made from a call and put option on eBay after their failed acquisition of the company for $56 billion, well, a hostile one at that. And they're actually locked up here for about $1 billion. So they did have $9.7 billion capital war chest, but $1 billion of that is being used as collateral for their call and put options against eBay. They made a huge sum of money from that, over $250 million. Let's also talk about their collectibles, because yeah, they sell a lot of games, it's fantastic, but there's a main narrative shift now in the stores. Believe it or not, Collectibles revenue surged a little bit less than $350 million on the quarter. That accounts for 41.8% of their net sales. Compare that to last year when they only made 28.9% of their revenue from collectibles. So something's happening there in terms of sort of a business shift. They generated as well $83.7 million in the quarter just from interest on Treasury. So Ryan Cohen's got $8.4 billion in cash and marketable securities in U.S. Treasury bills. So he's using that money, obviously, to lock into that for the interest. They're not making money from the products on that $83 million that they made from Treasuries. Last but not least, $400 million digital asset volatility exposure. What am I talking about? They've quietly built up a massive digital tokens balance here. So the balance sheet shows that they're holding about $400 million in digital assets, basically tokens, at the close of Q1. Given how crypto has been trading lately, this puts, that hoard of cash, 400 million, into some jeopardy here. So we'll have to see if they're able to come through this on the better side next quarter, Adara.
Here's a look at their revenue going back to Q1 2020. As you can see, kind of stagnant over the last 5 quarters or so, despite this record income or whatever here. So GME guys, what are your thoughts on these earnings?
Well, yeah, we're sort of saying before, like the buyback. So if they're going to do eBay, like that's a significant amount of dilution that would have to happen for that. So they sprinkle this potential buyback for the next couple of years, till 2029, I suppose, where they can maybe offset a little bit of it and give it a bit of a floor. So what I like about that is we've already had buyers on this for quite some time in the low 20s. You just zoom it out far enough there on the daily chart. But like you've already got buyers at the 21 level. Okay, so you start to look for the obvious lower high spots. Now we've lost this key level here at 23.1. We're pretty much at here at the open the 22.7, which is the next big one, and then 22.2. And this is where I look for. If I'm expecting there to be buyers on the way back in giving it a shelf, well, you've got your gap up and you've got your trend down. So there's trend breaks and there's key support levels, and show me the support and then I'll take a shot at it. We haven't seen support yet, so 22.2, and at least for now, this 22.7 look like places that we can come back in. There's no point saying, hey, look for because anywhere that I would have looked for a fade anyways was like way too late on, and it would have probably been up at like $24.5, which we're nowhere close to. Like we're now almost 10% away from a fade level on the stocks. So we're going to have to look for the dip buy. I think the volume is going to be there today, so this is the name that's going to be on the radar, but you can see that 22.2 level for support, or just any trend break here on GameStop. I think on the other end of it too is as eBay starts to come down a bit. I think that's getting into some interesting levels to maybe look for a dip buy. Of course, GameStop trying to buy eBay, despite the fact that eBay is a bajillion times bigger than they are.
All right, so not only is it on radar, but it's also on the sticky note today. So we'll see what's going on with that one, as there's GameStop right there, long at $22. Strong earnings reaction, share repurchase support. Let's see if there's a dip buy opportunity if support holds. Play the momentum into this announcement. And yeah, right now the momentum's obviously high side there. So I put the link in the description, in the chat there if anybody wants to go find the sticky note, but I just read it to you. It's pretty simple stuff, man. I mean, if we do fall back into $22, it's something I want to look at. Yesterday's levels, we kept on bumping up into that 22 area. We were fading off of that the day before as well. Here's 22 right there. So that's come in to play a couple times on the way back down, right? Here's the levels that we didn't really hold, $22. So if it does fall back in, and we can zoom back out now and see what's happening today. So there's the move up. Let's see if we can come back into this area, $22. Could be an area for support. That would basically put it up, I guess, 5 or 6% if that does happen. I think that's probably more reasonable. The short float on GameStop isn't what it used to be. We've talked about that a couple times here. I think it was in the teens right now. GameStop, there it is. Yeah, 14% short. So it's not a huge short float. But, the surprise came with a good earnings report there. And we've also seen some, and this is on the daily, we've seen some decent support in and around that $21 mark. So I like GameStop down here, man. I think that there's an opportunity for it to hold this level. You get that share repurchase. And I've been talking all about, I recently bought a couple hobby boxes of cards there, World Junior cards, trying to get that McKenna. And yeah, so the kids love ripping those packs, and collectibles is a thing, right? We've seen that right now. And if GameStop can put that, sort of in their business model, I think there's something about that, buying and selling different cards and memorabilia. The margin's quite high on that if you can flip those. So I like GameStop here. Pokemon, all that kind of stuff continues to be something. And obviously games are what they are. We do have Grand Theft Auto coming out in November, so that could be something there, and that's Take-Two. So if you did think about maybe a more pure play into video games and what may happen, Take-Two is actually a very interesting name. They've fallen from grace as well lately, back into your 50-period moving average. So we can watch out for TTWO here coming into November when Grand Theft Auto gets released. They spent billions and billions of dollars on that. And I think GameStop could feel, a little bit of a windfall from that release as well, especially if they're able to get products in their stores. I don't know exactly what the connection is going to be there, but hey, man, the more people that start talking about games again, the more popular GameStop should get, you would think. And I like the memorabilia, and I like the buyback. So GameStop with a couple good stories there. Hey, it's 15 minutes, and we get to see what winds up happening there with GameStop. Is it even here? Let me throw out 100 shares. Is it even hard to borrow? Yes. So it's still on the hard to borrow list. So if you want to go short, see, that's the preparation we're talking about. You need to.
I'm not looking short.
You need to be able to get shares long and short in a name. So if you're trading GameStop, see if it's borrowable. That's correct. For your platform. It's not for ours. We're gonna have to pay for them. Here at Real Trading, we have probably the cheapest borrows in the game. So
it'll be like
it'll
one
be like,
quarter of a cent.
Yeah, for 100 shares, this will probably cost you like 2 cents, literally.
Exactly.
Something so small like that. So yeah, GameStop definitely on radar. Good name, not that high value, and a potential big mover today, up 10% as we speak.
Palo Alto Networks, not up 10%. It did have a really nice post-market move, giving up all of that, despite strong year-over-year growth here for revenue, at least, Tariff.
Yeah, let's dig into these numbers, Adira, because these also are a little bit financially engineered. So the mainstream media really wants to pound the table on that 60% year-over-year growth, organic growth, that is. But let's dig in a little deeper into that. If you remove the acquired CyberArk and Chronosphere acquisitions that they made last year, organic growth is only 28%, not 60%. So that's something to note there. And those acquisitions obviously cost a lot of money. So you have to factor that into margins. Let's also talk about that non-GAAP 85 cents EPS that the media is touting. Let's dig a little bit more deep into that. If you look at GAAP, not non-GAAP, you're actually looking at a loss of $177 million. Compare that to last year when they made $262 million on the quarter. And that's for one reason and one reason only, a 45, almost 46% bump in stock-based compensation, which not only is dilutive, but also hurts free cash flow in the near term. Point number 3, platformization. This has been PANW's kind of bread and butter. They want to get you onto their system for every type or every asset of the cybersecurity spectrum. But that costs them money to do that, because what they're doing is they're giving away their core software products free to get you on that platformization for 6 to 12 months. That obviously eats into margins. Let's talk about Prism AI. Management aggressively touted Prism AI as sort of as the fastest growing product in their history, tripling its client base from 100 to 300 customers. However, to keep this product scaling towards the publicly targeted $100 million ARR, annual recurring revenue, they've had to sharply increase how much you're spending with AWS, how much you're spending with Google Cloud. So that again eats into free cash flow as well as margins. And last but not least, they bought $1 billion back worth of their shares last quarter, but that only leaves $1 billion left under the current authorized amount, meaning that they're either going to have to dip in or they're going to have to stop buying back shares, which could have an issue on the price floor. Let's see how this trades.
Yeah, I found this pretty interesting, guys, here. Year-over-year revenue growth by segment, pretty much the same for all of its segments. So product revenue and total revenue up 31.1% year-over-year. But wait, subscription and support revenue up 31.2% year-over-year. So this is crazy steady growth. I've never seen this before for a company to have all of their segments grow pretty much exactly the same. Thoughts on PANW, guys?
It's a little disappointing to an extent, and Sharif gave you all the deets on the fundamentals there and some potential concerns going forward. That said, it has been, lately, it's been more of a fall after earnings for this cybersecurity name and a pullback. This is obviously going to feel different, but each of the last time this is tagged or pulled back into the 50 period on the monthly chart, it's gone 3.5 times. It did it in 2020, it went 3.5 times. But look how long it took to do it. And then when we pulled back into the 50-period moving average 2023, it went 3.5x again. It just pulled back in now, and in a matter of like 4 months, has already gone double up. But that pattern is like 3.5 times. I don't know that it sees. It's this market is completely different. Clearly, you can tell the velocity has been absolutely distinctly different. So I think even if it gets there, it's gonna be noisy, and there's gonna be not a reckoning moment, but where's our 15 to 20% dip at some point on this where you can catch the value. I think that's gonna make a lot more sense. Just too expensive. Like to me, like you heard me last week saying going into these prints with PANW and CrowdStrike, it's just easier to take 10% off both of them and then wait to see what happens after. And if they go up like 25%, you look silly for a little bit and they'll look to be able to buy a dip. I want to wait on this one. At least minimum give it the 3-day rule, but I do think you can get a pullback in Palo Alto. And if CrowdStrike has a similar result, then this could be double digits easily by, I guess, Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say, we've seen Zscaler last week get hit, right? And we want to talk about valuation. Zscaler, let's do Zscaler first, and I'll go to cyber. When you're going to look at different valuations, we had PANW, Palo Alto there, and CrowdStrike like at 150 PEs, 75 PEs, things like that. Zscaler got hit on their earnings pretty good last week and found a bottom in there around 130. I think Zscaler goes lower today off that bad. Not bad numbers from Palo Alto, but just a bad reaction to it. So watch out for Zscaler possibly getting back into this 110, 120 area, where I do think it's a buy. I really do like all of the cybersecurity names, and that's why I think that it's, hey, look, if you think these names are getting cooked a little bit to the high side, I would not disagree. But look at this ETF, right? This is a cyber ETF. You can get your hands on all of the names and diversify a little bit. I don't really think you need to because of CrowdStrike and Palo Alto. Those are the only two names that I own. But look at the name that just continues to go higher here. ETFs, safe way to play. And I was actually thinking about this last night. You can have a great portfolio with just ETFs. Like you don't even need to hold any of these names. So if you're getting like really excited about, look at SOX L is more of a big one. You want to maybe get the SOX, where you're not looking at triple levered, right? But some of these names will hold everything in them. So even if you don't have MRVL or you don't have ARM or whatever, this is up another 5%. What, SOX? If we look at SOX Q, is that what it is? Yeah, so there it is. So the SOX Q would be the original, right? So there you go. So you're up 2% here today. So if you're thinking like, hey, I don't know if I want to sell MRVL. I don't know if I want to sell ARM. I'm not sure what the next one to run is. I don't know if I want to sell my AMD or my Nvidia or whatever. I mean, just look at the run that this ETF has had to the upside, holding all of that. Now we can ask Gemini, or just Google it, I guess, which would be Gemini at the end of the day. What are the percentage holdings in this? And then do your own research about what's going on. But I do think that a rotation out of individual names and potentially into an ETF is not a horrible idea, and I do like it for the cyber. And you can also get, and again, do your research, Bug is another one. So you get security names in Bug and cyber and all that, and they've all gone to the upside. So if you're underweighted in some of the cyber names, you can get a piece with the ETFs, and then you're not really picking and choosing individual names. So that's not a horrible strategy at all. And I'm actually, this is not to say anything. I mean, I think a lot of people I've been talking about since we started this show, 5-6 years ago, that I was basically long only, and that's exactly what I still am. And we've been buying, I'm way overweighted in a lot of these tech names. So that's why thinking about where the space has been, sort of the appreciation of certain portfolios or whatever over the last year, 2 years, maybe it is time at some point to start, as we've been talking about some of these names, ARM, MRVL, now all these cybersecurity names, Micron. But I mean, again, if you trimmed any Micron from any point other than today, you're not right, because it just keeps going to the upside. But you can't look at trades in basically a weak vacuum. Yeah. You have to sort of think where am I long in here? Would I be happy with a 5,000% return? If the answer is yes, then I think you just continue to trim and you look back and say, why did I do that? And I think it's just because that's what investing is. It's so easy for us to say, oh, well, let's buy the dip, right? We talked about that with Walmart. It's beat up so much, we're just going to buy it. right? Well, when you buy it at 116 or 117, now it's at 112. Obviously, you're not buying it you're not putting in 100% at certain levels. So I think you take some out at certain levels as well, just like on the way up, right? You can watch Walmart climb from 119 up to 134, hit these levels, and think it's going to go higher, right? But when it doesn't, then it's like, okay, where do you start to get out, right? If you hold the bag all the way through, then now you're at some buy levels where you're like, man, I wish I would have had some of the capital from up there back into there. So this is not even that extreme an example because it's Walmart and we're not going to expect to move 10% a day. But in ARM, in CrowdStrike, in Marvell, and in some of these, we have lots to go, we should throw it back there, and in some of these cyber names, they've just gone so far so fast that there has to be some profit taking at some point. And hey, Sharif, you and I talked about this yesterday after that earnings report. Huge earnings report. I do think PANW gets back up there, but it does actually make sense, Sharif, that there are traders selling some of this profit. I mean, we saw Marvell actually open, Sharif, 220 the day before their earnings report. They had a crazy earnings report. It was a great one, and it fell to 195. It went down 12%. There from top to bottom, if not more than that, on their earnings day. And now we see where Marvell is. So I think we buy dips on cybersecurity names and, continue to be excited about it. But I'm still excited about IREN. I mean, this is another story here.
Oh, it's got
where the build-outs are there, and just upset that I'm not in IREN, to be honest with you. So let's go back over to the desk. We'll find about it. And by the way, it's the #1 idea on the sticky note. It's IREN.
I'll start here with, I guess, a pretty on-the-nose pun. I ran this morning here a little bit, I think between 7:15 and 7:30 a.m., announcing a data center agreement here for a campus in South Australia.
Yes, 800 megawatt transmission connection agreement for Bundy, South Australia. Good look. And look, when you look at the details of this, they're actually going to save a lot of money because this was going to cost them a lot more money. They're going to save about... well, it doesn't say exactly. It says hundreds of millions specifically, but they won't have to build out any costly local transmission upgrades or lines for this 800 megawatt project. They're already there, so that saves them $1 or $2. Secondly here, by 2027, local laws require these data centers as well as local power generation to be of green origin. And so that helps by making this data center available in 2028. And immediately, clients like Microsoft, clients like Google, who will be part of this data center, will immediately be able to meet ESG requirements. So good look on that. And then last but not least, they had a lot of money coming in lately. $3.6 billion in private placement. They had, I believe, within the last just 48 hours, actually, they closed $3.65 billion investment grade GPU financing facility that combines $2.1 billion in private placement and a $1.55 billion term loan. So they do have the cash to get this done. Let's see, if the market likes this even more than it does in the pre-market here, Dara.
Do you guys think IREN will continue to run throughout the rest of the session?
Daily looks even better on the monthly chart. It's at the IPO U shape, the pullback into the IPO price and the rally higher. Just try to remember the 27th. On the 27th, it was a gap up. It had all the same story to it. The initial long worked, went 61 to 64, then flooded all the way back in. The better long was the second time. Like it broke trend and then false broke. Gave you a quick scalp trade win, but then when it came back in that second time, pretty heavy, that was another opportunity to get it. So I want to take the cue from this day because it was good, but it could have been a heck of a lot better if you catch the secondary trade when it looked weak. So it's trending back in, looking for these prior support or resistance levels in here at 68, break the trend, go long. But if it does the same pattern, open high at 935 or whatever and pulls back, that secondary bounce was so good on the 27th. That's the only thing that got missed. That was literally the last time we traded it, and good, but it could have been a heck of a lot better. So I want to make sure that we're on it if we see that level multiple times.
Yeah, there's reasons why we put out the note, and today it's an IREN reason. Long 66 to 67, man. Expansion into Asia Pacific here with that deal in Australia. I like it, man. Relative strength for sure in the name. We've seen it continue to just make new highs. Oh, this chart's still on Marvell. Hold on a second. I had it on my e-signal charts. Here's IREN right here. Continues to keep going. There was a level that we're looking at up here, 76. We talked about that earlier. I think we can get there today, 76, $77. So that would be an area where we look to get out if we're long, but it's fallen back in quite nicely. I wrote down that 68 to 67 marker. That's sort of where we were yesterday. We're sitting at 67.50 right now to see if we can catch a long. So we're going to wait for Marvell. We're going to wait for IREN to come. Only 1 minute left. Quickly over for Tesla, Dara, and then we'll come right back 30 seconds.
Tesla with strong, nearly 40% year-over-year growth when it comes to China deliveries. Also, chances of this SpaceX merger are heating up.
Yeah, great. 86,000 almost vehicles. Adara, 40% year over year, 12% month over month, and 11% as well for a different vehicle. So let's see how they do. Good luck for China.
Yeah, TSLA, guys.
Yeah, look, if it doesn't break 424.20, so 424.20, then I'm not that interested in Tesla. There is some support down there. But with this little time left, we'll be looking at IREN, IBIT. GameStop's already broken out, so that might have to wait for that. On Hump Day, which is also CrowdStrike Day, so the market is now open. Yeah, GameStop, that was the first thing I noticed.
Okay, we're already short Google here, I think.
And GameStop already starting to blast higher, so no dip buys, I guess, off of the open for GME.
Okay, we were just like well in the money on Google. Now it's starting to run here. Oops. Why isn't my, okay, there it is. So there goes Google right up to the upside, 365. Watch out now for Google running around. We're short right here at 364.50s. Good move up. This is a level that we liked. We tried to short this yesterday. It worked until it didn't. It didn't work until it did. It worked late on Google. So we're going to have to wait just a couple minutes to see if that one comes back to life a little bit. I mean, where could we get stopped out? We're not going to put on huge shares first thing in the morning on the very first fill that we get, but looks like 366 coming upside right now for Google would probably be a good spot to think about stopping out of this one, as it is just racing right now to the upside. The only position I have, there it is. The only position I have in right now is this Google trade. Just trying to let it settle down a bit here without punching out immediately at some of those highs. But it is going against me right now. This is Google.
Intel was ripping as well. They have a little bit of a story. I'm just going to be on the offer of IBIT, just like yesterday, trying to short that Bitcoin right off the bat. But you did have a spike up and a rejection of 118 on Intel, was up like $3. I know we've been talking a lot about MRVL. Intel up 7% as well. Like that's the problem with these chip names. It's like MRVL does what it does, and then you're barely even talking about another name that's up 7% today.
Which one was?
Intel.
Oh, Intel. Yeah, we looked at that earlier. Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, it's a crazy thing. If this can hold on to VWAP, it might be a little something. Remember, 125, big level on that bad boy. All right, here comes IREN trying to break that trend, so this could be the first chance to get into it as it's trying to break out this trend line. It dipped close. That looks like it almost got to that 68 as well, but that wick was like a dollar wick through the bottom. And good luck getting that. But if we get a double bottom here at 68, we'll jump into the long, or we just break the trend line here on IREN, up only 4%. It's no Intel, I suppose.
Oh, wild one. This is just wild here today, man. This continues to happen every single day, man. These markets these markets are just like back and forth all over the place right there.
Missed that.
So there we go. We get a 366 on Google. So now our average price is right here. I mean, we started this short. We wrote it down again on Google today, around 363, 364 short area. So that's where we're short right now. We're up on the stock today, which is different than yesterday. So let's wait to see if Google does fall back in. Here we go. Now nicely cooking upside P&L wise for Google as we get that 66 short. Now let's wait to see how far we can drop down in. I'm bidding 62 is kind of where this day all started. And we'll see if Google wants to drop back in. Not a bad, I'm going to take out one more piece right now in 63 area for a nice trade. There it is, man. It's $1.50 now in the money on Google. So we're really running that one here early. And we didn't stop out, man. We were talking about 366, came up there, gave us a fill in that area. And did we get that fill yet? No, we're at 362.01 right now. It just bounced off at 362.03s. Crazy. All right, well, we need that fill. Hopefully that does come back in. So far, so good on that one. Bang for the big trade of the day for me there on Google, but still needs to work. We had a good trade yesterday, and then it blew me up, so we'll have to wait for that one. IREN going, and then you mentioned MRVL and Intel. Let's have a quick little look there. I'm still bidding
Intel.
Yeah, I'm still bidding $3 here on that, so we'll have to wait to see if there is any interest in the $300 level now. I just took another piece out at 363 here on Google. I'm going to put another bid low, 362. 25 this time, and hopefully we get that one. We just missed it last time, but a little bit of ins and out there on Google as it's trying to get back upside. Look at the market up and down. What's up, Adara?
Google upsized their equity capital raise here from 80 billion to just under 85 billion. They're now pricing this offer again of 25.46 million shares at $355.20 per share. Back to you.
All right, so the bit of a seller, when I say a bit of a seller, there was a pretty large dude here at 70.80 on IREN. So it did break trend here on Friday. Sorry, was it? I don't know if it was Friday, but it was on the 27th. I remember being in this, the initial break gave you the scalp trade, and then it was just pure loss on the way back in. And the next move was the big one, so it was this spike, and then the second move was the best. So we're gonna go with the scalp trade, and if we see another dip back in for the double bottom, we're gonna go for that. I am into IBIT as well, but thank you, Omen, for reminding me. That's entirely my bet. We saw the super chat, I responded to him like we're gonna talk about Wolf, and then we just didn't get to it. The open came to us. It was just the volume was no good on this in the pre-market. That was the only thing I had against it. It's good. Obviously, it's going to be a good breakout trade at this particular point, but it's done 1 million shares with a pretty significant spread. And when you look at this on the daily chart, like it is still in a little bit of a pullback mode. Like there's this head and shoulders look. So $70 does give you some room to go for a bit of a head and shoulders play, but it's the volume that concerns me. And look how quickly it falls when it loses the breakout. Like that's $3. Really, it's a serious lack of liquidity on Wolf. That's why I know we'd stay away from it, because that's the kind of slippage. I don't want any part of that. On IPO, like you expect it because you see the upside, but that's not that tradable for me. Probably more of a swing trade stock.
All right, Google 360. Yeah, Google might not go down. Look at Micron. Micron is absolutely getting hit right now. 1080 down to 1050. Straight lines down right now on Micron. I can't believe I'm short Google, and it's the one that's kind of holding up. Look at the market really starting to bleed a lot right now, and we don't even see anything going on right now on Alphabet. Of course, I'm in this name as there's news all about it. Let's go over to Adara.
Another name that is pretty much a straight line down here, Sean, is CL. This is Colgate. 8:45 a.m. They had this Dutch Bank conference appearance where they categorized North America performance as slowing, quote, markedly in the first weeks of May. They said, though, it's only about 3 weeks of data and too early to tell if this is downside inflection or just a, quote unquote, blip. So not great here for CL. I'm also seeing reports here that Hezbollah has fired rockets on Israeli soldiers in northern Israel. So unfortunately, Middle East tension continues. Keep an eye here at 9:45 a.m. We're going to be getting S&P Services PMI and S&P Composite PMI. I'll deliver those numbers for you guys. Back to you.
They're all getting
down. Yeah, I know. I was just talking.
They're all getting.
We're talking about ARM there. Yeah, I was like, what's going on?
Well, the second I saw Marvell,
how come
down,
Google's not going down?
Look, I mean, the second I saw Marvell was giving back, still up 5%. I'm like, yeah, ARM is probably falling too. Should have trimmed more at the $400 level for sure. It's still only an IBIT, but look at the Qs. I suppose we just talked about it, but look at that. Now that's a false break.
Damn
pullback.
you, NASDAQ.
And so IREN is doing that thing that it did on the 27th for now. The only difference, so like the scalp break trade to first resistance and then the retest to the low, the only difference is how heavy the market is while it's happening. That wasn't the case on the 27th. We weren't bleeding in the same way. I just typed I bet, not I bid.
Hit me this time.
I'm looking for like just opening range low, next out, and then the bottoms from yesterday on Bitcoin, and then just sort of resume the short the pops until this thing shows it doesn't suck.
Yes, finally.
That's the best way to think about it. Someone just said MSTR is ripping. It is? Bitcoin's at the lows. How could MSTR be ripping if, well, how could they be jamming our signal if they don't know we're coming? I don't get that one.
Yeah,
Bitcoin's, I'm sitting there like, what do you mean? What are you talking about MSTR at the highs? It can't be. I'm in IBIT. It's at the low. Well, there's that hedge trade, right? Like long one, short the other. It does happen, so I guess we're seeing potentially some of that.
Bull, bear, props. There it goes, man. Downside right into VWAP, man. We did it one more time. Alphabet going to be increasing CapEx next year, as we heard. That's not great news for investors. They weren't really celebrating CapEx too much, but I guess that means that Google knows what they're doing in that front. So if they're going to be increasing their CapEx, we do know that that's probably going to flow through to Nvidia at some point. Nvidia down a little bit here. It's just so funny. The market's absolutely cracking, and I really can't get the love here on Google that I thought. It's one of the names that still remains high side right now here today. And you know what? Am I just picking the wrong wrong ones. I mean, look, we're happy with it. $4 in the money. I'm not going to complain. Apple's also going to the upside right there. Carney's speaking right now, apparently. So something going on there. There's Marvell. We are bidding, oh my gosh, we're bidding 301 on Marvell. It just touched 302, then right back up there to 308. So watch out now. We're going to go to Adara for, once again, another news update.
Another name to watch here, guys, META. This one pushing higher, just seeing headlines. Apparently, they've announced an enterprise-focused AI business agent and business agent platform. So Meta with some agent results here. I'm also seeing Ford's May total vehicle sales coming in. These are down 13.6% year over year. Just a few minutes now until S&P Composite and Services PMI. Back to you.
Yuck, Nvidia.
Really surprised.
Nvidia is down 1.5%. Like this is
219.
They're all over the place. 219 on Nvidia. I just looked and AMD was at the high of the day. So AMD is up at the highs at 4%. I think we already talked about Intel, but just
down again,
Intel
Google.
literally breaking the highs. Tesla's starting to get going. Nah, you know what? It was at 21s last I checked. Now you're all the way back underneath that 420. Above 420 Tesla, that's where your home is. Everyone knows you need to get above there. Still looking relatively weak in IBIT. I see that on MSTR and that disconnect. Man, if IBIT takes the low, like breaks the low, I might also go for like a trend break here on MSTR. I just don't think you can have that. You can't have one weak and the other strong forever. That just can't be the case. We probably have to pay for locations. So just to prepare myself. Oh no, they're free today. So whatever.
Get down.
I had to pay last time. But if we break the LOD on IBIT, I'm taking a short in MSTR in that moment too.
All right, Meta up 2.5% off open here. More monetization talk about their AI. I'm still just focused on this, man. I mean, I'm trying to make, one, maybe two trades here off open and just to wait to see if we can hold some of this. Today, Google's actually working to the downside, but it seems to be bouncing off of VWAP here. So we just took another bid at 62.25. So we took a couple down there. We did get one fall into VWAP, 361.70. That was a great trade. I'm only in a quarter of this position right now, and I'm thinking about just getting lighter and lighter. Look at this move right there, right back up to 365. This is just, there's a whole bunch of names. Like now their Gemini data's coming out right now. They're all over the place right now, Google. Really putting out some big numbers on Gemini. I'm going to just start to average out of this. I didn't realize there's all these news bombs today for Google, so just get ready to see what this name has in store for it there. Apparently some good report there on Gemini coming out right now. So just being careful on the amount of monthly active users. It's really, I mean, here at Real Trading, we have, the Google enterprise version or whatever. So we, using Gemini gives us a certain amount of tokens, I guess, per day, or I don't know if it's corporate based or user based or whatever, but there are, do you know how that works, Randy? How many, do we have a certain amount of tokens company wide or? Yeah, okay, so.
Did you hear there was some company that didn't set a limit?
Yeah, shh, don't say anything. I mean, I hope our company has limits on them. I'm not using it for much
and
here.
They looked at in the quarter, they'd spent like,
yeah, it was like $500 million
I think it was Uber. They spent their entire year's budget
Uber?
in like 1 month.
No, I don't think it was.
No, it was Uber. It was 1 quarter.
Why was Uber giving it to all their employees?
Because they're.
Okay. I mean, I've been wanting to get out of Uber for a minute, but
I shouldn't mock them. I still own shares of that stock, but they're dumb. That was so stupid.
So we're putting up some decent numbers here today. Just waiting for this.
Quickly,
we didn't get IREN yet.
We got this super chat from Codename on DGXX. The story this morning, it was an Nvidia Vera Rubin commitment, 35 million. It is giving it all back. Currently, like it closed at about $8. It just tagged the prior close here. So sometimes on these gaps to the upside, it's in a downtrend. It tried to break. It did the same thing IREN did. Downtrend after a gap up, do a quick little false break, and then try to make another low. But DGXX has given a lot of it back. Underneath, VWAP and was never really above it. So if Luis was on here, I bet you he would have said that they'd look short, because on these gappers, you want to see it hold. Okay, so now we're trying to break the low on IBIT. Just took another leg out at the LOD, but MSTR is still, well, it was like 2 seconds ago before we talked about a couple of other things. MSTR have already broken trend. Yeah, it broke the trend before IBIT broke the LOD. That's what I was looking for. But we're gonna hang on to the Bitcoin short. IREN, we took one quick scalp trade, learned the lesson from the 27th, where the initial break, it pulls back, give it a little bit. I think it was about 10 o'clock that it made its real ramp up. So we'll wait for it to catch a little bit of a bid. Still looking solid relative to the market as the NASDAQ and the ES have both gone red.
All right, I'm looking to maybe do something here. I'm just going to start a little long on MRVL here. I'm going to punch out if it breaks 300. So I just thought this might be a decent spot to potentially start right there, and there it is. It's $1 already there on MRVL. As you know, we're just going to keep on doing what we're doing, man. And traders going to trade, and there it goes, man. $1 on MRVL and right back in. So we did take a piece out there. We're just going to wait. This is going to be one of those names where we're only going to take at most half a unit here, give it a little bit of room to 300. Here it comes right now. Look at the market. The market is absolutely falling all over itself. So the bigger short for me is obviously in that Google trade. We will give some back if this does break 3 bills. But we're going to hold on to MRVL and just see if there is some sort of kickback there. Remember what I talked about just before the market opened? Nothing wrong with like getting out of some of these names, putting your money right back into an ETF or something, and therefore you're not, experiencing this kind of a move. But it's a Dara right now. We have numbers at 945.
S&P Services PMI here, 51 forecast, 50.9 prior. Composite PMI, 51.7 prior, 51.7 expected. Services PMI, 50.7. That's going to be below the 51 forecast. Just waiting here on that composite number. Again, composite here. Forecast 51.7, actual print here coming at 51.5. You get the more closely watched ISM Services PMI at 10. At 10 a.m., you'll also get factory orders month over month and the start of the testimony from U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Many cabinet members have been testifying for the Senate and Congress over the last couple of days. Again, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent at 10 a.m. today, along with that ISM and factory orders data. So you'll see me at 10. In the meantime, you'll see some more trades with Sean and Neil. NASDAQ just continuing to push lower.
Be careful not to get hood shedded. It's looking pretty nasty I've looked at 2 fintech names, Robinhood down 5%, and at the low, identical charts here, Robinhood and SoFi. Someone mentioned SoFi not looking very good. They're both, the market is bleeding as well. We just turned into the red, but this was downtrend yesterday. Waited all day long for it to break trend and look for a long. That was just absolutely silly. There is a level out here. We're at the 50 period right now, and 16 are 2 places that there could be a potential reversion trade. IREN, maybe there isn't going to be a second long on IREN. It just lost to 68. So like the initial break, that was about it. Now this is also absolutely bleeding to the downside. This could fill the whole gap. 66.6 is the actual close price. True, it's 66 and 60 cents. So that would be the only other place I'd look for reversion. You absolutely bled at this particular point. So again, just going to try to stay short. First available pop, I get an IBID or BMNR, which is just like yesterday. Going to reload the short if we can get it. First one to come into VWAP or the prior low to get back into the trade or reload it, we're going to go for it. Speaking of reloads, looks like we're going to get one from Randy.
Yeah, Randy's going to reload it. By the way, guys, let's go. This is what makes traders, being on a prop floor. We're now short MRVL. So we take that, we get hit on the long, and then we just reversed into the short. So now we're $3 in the money on the short right there. It broke 300 bucks. The market is breaking. We are now $8. I mean, we've got $4 on Google. We've got $4 on MRVL, and we're into IREN long off the spot that we like. So I hope you guys enjoy maybe this style of trading, trying to hold on to something a little bit longer to see if there's some love here for IREN. We're going to do the same type of thing right now, waiting for 67.80 coming on IREN, but there it is. Now it's 4 and change in the money as we're starting to get lower on Google right now. This is the lowest I've seen Google today, so I'm going to take a bid right there in the 20s. There it is. We'll take that out as this is really coming back in. This is a big trade alert right now for us on Google, man. We put this one on, and finally we follow our damn rules. There it is, the short on Google coming in pretty hard right now, and also IREN and MRVL. Wow, now we're 50 cents, Neil, in the money on IREN as that's starting to go back up to the upside. Oh boy, this has been a good one. Shout out to our good friend Obi as this name just keeps on moving around here. IREN in the money, MRVL now $4, and it's what it is right now as we're exploding. Phew, that's for you, Ozan. There it goes now, MRVL. Nice downside push here for MRVL. Hey man, this is a stock that I own a lot of, but for today, we're short MRVL for you guys live right now. Thank you for enjoying Trader TV Live. There's much more of this coming. We're here every single day, but there we go right now. Nice move here from MRVL.
Yeah, nice move to the downside continuously. We're now half a point now on the NASDAQ. It's just got to be patient. You know, start off 2 for 2, but if we can hold the trend, it's where is the next opportunity to find more short, especially with the bleeding that we're having. I want to be particular about where we try any longs. Tesla, I mean, a second ago Tesla was strong. Now it just rejected. It also rejected its breakout, so couldn't get through 425. Can you hold on to 420 on the back end? That's going to be the thing that matters to me the most. But whether it's MSTR, IBIT, low-hanging fruit, or BMNR, do like all three of them. I don't want to completely ignore GameStop, but it hasn't completely filled in that gap. We liked 22.2. You're now at 22.4. So this is downward trending, but if you're looking for a long in this market, you better, either it's got to be the level that you absolutely love, or it's got to give you the setup. So if we don't break trend, if we don't get to that last little 1% to the low, then I'm not jumping into this. Don't want to stand in front of any moving freight trains today. It's a good way to get into a little bit of trouble. But GameStop is getting close to that 22 level for sure. And they like to sell. That's what it is.
Okay, good.
Remember, they got the buyback, but you know, just because you have good numbers in the buyback doesn't mean you have to go up, especially with this bleeding market.
Let's see if
oil's not even moving.
Let's try to see if IREN actually wants to go. So let's give this a little bit of room here to see if it can breathe. Now we've actually got out of half of IREN. It got to 68. It got to 68.25s or so. With this market bleeding down here, I'm not trying to be in this name super long. So if it does lose the bid, we're already short a bunch. So we don't need to be too crazy here, worried about IREN and trying to make this one really work back up to the upside. But it is a name that we do have, and here it goes. Let's see if we can get back above 68 bucks, man. It's what we wrote down on here. We wrote the Google short, so that right now is $4 and change. We got IREN long right here, and that's starting to work out for us. So far, so good. MRVL, we got in and out of that one, and now it's coming right back up to the upside. I was going to wait for 303 again to break. So if that breaks high side, we can get out of MRVL right now, but we've already cleaned out of that position, man. We got 295s down there, so that was a really good fill for us. But there it is, man. Now we're gonna go $1 the other way on IREN, so yeah, not bad. And we'll wait to see if this one wants to run higher. Again, another trade that we took on this market. So a couple good shorts, I feel like, and a couple good longs as well there. I know Neil's in a few plays himself. Here goes Google. Take another bid here at 62.50. Look, we got a good move right back in. We've now taken out 61s back upside. That's VWAP. So yeah, I'm going to start to ease a little bit of this blood bath on Google and see if we can get a little bit more out here on that. MRVL coming right back to life as well. So that's nice to see in the long-term portfolio. But we were short it. Now we only have small. I have 1/10 of a unit on. We'll see what winds up happening. 303.50, and we're out of MRVL as it's battling. There it comes, battling all the way back. There it is, upside on MRVL. So back and forth there. Did a little bit of damage on the long where we lost. Then we made that back, and then we held a little bit of peace. We'll actually go net red there on MRVL just because of that initial move. But wow, look at IREN, man. That came right into the spot one more time. And this is why we put out those videos. This is why we put out those shorts. This is why we talk about it. It's all about the preparation. There's the Google short and the IREN long. Those would be absolutely two big plays here today, and that's the whole thing, right? You never know what's going to be right or wrong, but right now we do have IREN on the come up long.
Speaking of the come up to the long side, we're finally into GameStop for the first time. Just a little bit of patience for it to break trend and hold that 22 level. So, there's the close above. Look for the play into VWAP, which is the usual. And then we actually got to, we got the wick into VWAP on IBIT. Got a bit of a reload. Gonna still look for that low of the day. But good look in the chat, those that are saying when the market's been weak lately. Well, if tech pulls back, then sometimes this is what you'll see. Like you'll see Walmart with all green. But as tech bounces and the NASDAQ catches a bounce, look what's happening to Walmart. Then Walmart's catching a bit of a red. So if you get to VWAP on the NASDAQ here, and then we reject and put in a lower high, that could be a great spot if you're trading Walmart or any of these staple type names that are strong this morning. That'd be a good place for a bit of a reload. So the only new position for me is GameStop. That's one we had on the note, just breaking the trend, looking for VWAP, and trying to find out what's next. USO seems like an afterthought this morning. It's not really moving around. Looks like it's a bit of a nothing burger here on USO, but it is trending lower for what it's worth. Not to say that means the market's going to go up, but oil, at least the pressure isn't coming from oil. That's about the best thing. It's not the reason why we were flushing off the morning. We were flushing because of Nvidia and Micron and MRVL and ARM. And now look at Micron's almost back to VWAP. Nvidia's also, well, it's off the lows at least. Thought it was doing a little bit better than that. A little bit off the lows. Yikes. The buyers just aren't there in Nvidia when it's dipping. It's not it anymore. It's not the, you look at the difference between when Micron's down heavy in the first 20 minutes and when Nvidia's down heavy in the first 20 minutes. We remember a market where they'd gobble up Nvidia. No, they're gobbling up Micron. There's just a new, shiny new thing in town, and it's memory, or just everywhere else, basically. Adara?
Speaking of oil, by no means is this massive, but just be aware we are getting some comments here on Fox News from U.S. Energy Secretary Chris Wright. Chris Wright saying that oil prices will be declining once the Iran crisis is quote-unquote resolved. This is a piece of commentary we've heard from many members of the Trump administration. But once again, guys, just be aware, Fox News interview looks like coming here from U.S. Energy Secretary Chris Wright. Potentially expect more comments from him. Back to you.
Iran's falling back in. We are back into the short of MRVL here. We did take a couple shots at this name short into this area, but there it is. There's the break of 3 bills. So we're back to green now on MRVL as it is tanking through 299. We're now $3 in on this. We talked about playing the 25 period moving average. We got stopped out right here. Some in my eye there. We did short in and around that area, 303, got stopped out when it took out 304. And then we just wait a second, the 25 period, we want to try to respect that. So let's just wait. I'm going to take another bid here in the low 299s. See if there it is, see if we can grab it, which we did. So far, so good right there. I mean, we're really doing something now today in this market. So it's been a really good day to trade for me anyways. The ideas have just been lining up, right? I hope you guys have had some success today as well with some of your plans of action. Let's have a quick look at the broader market. We haven't did too much talk there. The NASDAQ right now down 0.46, so definitely something to look at here in the broader space. I mean, there's Nvidia. I'm going to get out another piece of actually right now MRVL before this gets too out of hand. All right, so Microsoft down again, another 2%. We talked about that earlier. Some of the software names have been in trouble. There's Oracle down 5. There's Palantir down 5. I know that Palantir's had a nice little move back to the high side, but as of yesterday, a lot of the names over here, not great. CRM down 5% again. There's Palo Alto, wow, down 7%. Wow, I'm glad that we talked about, trimming some of these plays earlier today because they're definitely coming back in with Nvidia down 2.5. Nvidia is the most recent big cap name that I actually purchased, and that was right around here, so 217. So we're going to have to watch out as healthcare. Finally, man, we really like that one, man. The face slapper of Eli Lilly going back up to the upside there. Big position of mine outside of tech is Eli Lilly, so I don't mind it there. I'm trying to get into some J&J. We can have a look over there at, that's health. Actually, that should be in health technology. Oh, there's J&J right here, 0.8. So that's not a horrible space as well. But we're at the highest spot we've been at all day right now for my P&L wise. And part of that is we just got right now, well, part of that is we're $7 right now in the money on MRVL. That's a big reason why. IREN is $1 and then Google's $3. So you're in about $11 or so worth of profit right here on this these trades. So, this is what we're trying to do every day is have some fun with you guys and give some opportunities and show you that, prop trading, although very difficult as trading normally is, there is opportunities here to put out some decent trades if you're patient enough and if you're planned enough. And we've been doing this for 20 plus years. So thanks everybody for joining us and keep your questions and comments going there in the chat. The best way is to super chat. And we're not talking about huge amounts of money or anything, but let us know. It'll show up on the screen and we'll be able to address it live for you guys as well. So yeah, man, so far so good here today.
Yeah, so far so good for sure. I think it sucks if you're long Bitcoin, obviously, but that just continues to go down. GME's trying to go. It gets halfway to VWAP, so we're getting a nice little push, despite the fact that the market is looking weak. But remember, overall, it's still working like this. Right? If you go from the pre-market high, even if I drew that one, the long pre-market trend had a false break at the open, so VWAP is still a target, and even the 23.2. You got to respect the fact that we're going to the downside pretty precipitously. Tesla's about the only thing that I'm looking at that actually looks strong. Well, there's probably a few other things. We mentioned Walmart already, but I suppose it's in that tech space. It's going to... it's trying to hold above the prior lows. I shouldn't say it's going to hold over the prior lows. It's been a really, really choppy move. All of these holds of the prior day highs have been like $2 candles, which is a little wild because if you're trying to go long in there, you're giving it $3 on Tesla. Yeah, that's not doing that. Because if you're sitting there looking to take like $1 or like $2 on a move, you're probably not wanting to hold it 2 or 3 against you. So I need this to tighten up a little bit and show some kind of a non-choppy mess before we get into TSLA. Be careful with the longs when you're in a weak market. And that's the way I look at it. I'm going to tighten the stop on GME, just move it down into break even because it's going a little bit too slow for me. And I know Lays and VCIG and some of these small cappers are going, this is crossing the $100 million mark in terms of shares and volume. This one actually looks good compared to some of the other small cappers we gave you. This is a continuation from yesterday. $5, $5, $5 is the resistance on the daily for those interested in Lays. Something we mentioned as a big time runner in great volume if you happen to be in Lays. Just be careful. They're around for a good time, not a long time. Adara?
Numbers, ISM services PMI 53.8, forecast 53.6 prior. The less closely watched numbers, S&P services and composite PMI, both coming in a little bit lower than expected. Then we also are going to get factory orders month over month. 4.6% here is the forecast. 1.5% is the prior, so we're expecting a bit of an uptick here. ISM services PMI 54.5 is what I'm seeing here versus estimates of 53.8. So again, while S&P services and composite PMI came in lower, ISM services PMI coming in higher. Factory orders month over month also higher than expected here, 4.8% versus 4.6% expected. This market continuing to chop around a little bit here, trying to bounce off these lows. Let's wait to see what comes. We know that news out of Iran does remain on watch here. President Trump indicating in a podcast that was published earlier this morning that Iran has agreed to give up its nuclear program, or at least negotiate on its nuclear program, but he also said they could always, quote, change their minds. GeoOGL trying to push higher here. Google's had a rough couple of days. We know they're going to be raising some capital. And they also announced a whole series of updates here, including their May Gemini app monthly active users at over 900 million versus just 400 million this time last year. So good growth. Lots of earnings on watch today. Palo Alto Networks, one of those reports. Solid numbers, but this continuing to slide here. GTLB also reported last night. Tonight after the bell, you're going to get Broadcom. You're going to get CrowdStrike. And to use it once more in the same sentence as these two names, you're going to get C3 AI. So lots of earnings tonight after the bell. Lots of day one earning plays on watch as well as we send you back over to Sean and to Neil.
Yes, sir. And I see people talking about Trade the Pool, so why not remind everybody to get ready for the biggest trading event Trade the Pool has ever been a part of. The Trading World Championship 2026 is coming together with top trading brands from across the industry, and it all starts on June 8th. This is your chance to win huge prizes, including over $20,000 in cash rewards, evaluation accounts, exclusive giveaways, and access to special live events happening throughout the competition. The only way to win is to join, and registration is completely free. So don't miss your shot. Scan the QR code on your screen right now, sign up, and join the Trading World Championship 2026. Trade the Pool, a prop firm. Of course, we have some questions about that. We trade props, they're prop. Remember, all prop firms, of course, will have their own, quirks, but for the most part, the idea is you're trading firm capital. So there's been a few questions about that. But the main distinction, retail is your own money, prop is the firm's capital that you are trading. I saw it a couple times in the chat, wanted to mention it. Where was I going to go next? Intel's doing nothing. It was Tesla. Tesla's breaking out. So it did not do any calming down. It is just continuing to blast higher on this. We're trying to get to VWAP on GameStop. It's close. At this point, definitely not going to turn into a loser. But I don't like the lack of velocity here. It's still looking rather sluggish, and the volume is not really creeping up. So if it ends up being a scalp trade, you still get a couple of points into VWAP, which is perfectly fine. iBit still putting in lower highs as well, and Walmart still looking pretty strong. Interesting. I thought this would pull back more if the Nasdaq caught a bid. Nasdaq's catching a heck of a bid, and Walmart's not really pulling back. That doesn't make that much sense to me. If it's supposed to be strong when tech is weak, then why would it not pull back a little bit more than it's doing here? I still like it. It's just, I like that trend trade where you pass the baton from one to the other. I want them both at VWAP at the same time because that gives you a cleaner entry.
All right. We got stopped out there, by the way, of MRVL, of course. We talked about that 304, but I mean, again, lost on the long, made twice on the short. So we're happy with our MRVL performance there. And IREN, man, that run, that went right to 69.30. And again, wow, here comes another pullback. Okay, so a little bit of a flush action there on IREN. We only have 20%. No, I'm fine if that's what you're asking for, Randy. Thanks. Down to $68 again. I need an iced coffee. $68 there. Maybe a rebuy. I think we can wait, though, for IREN to come back in if that is something that winds up happening there. So we'll wait for IREN to come. MRVL breaking higher, and then Google. Look, Google did a run back up to, okay, well, we got some out there at 365 on a break higher through there. Still waiting. We're going to stop out if it takes out the highs. But, hey, man, it's been quite the run so far here today. Did Micron battle back? I mean, Micron's been a huge stock for many traders as well. It's still near the lows there for Micron, 1045, 1040 coming into play. We did talk about, don't tell this to Sharif when he comes through, someone's going to get body slammed. PANW down 6%. It was down 7% at its lows. We'll see if it can get going. I really did think that there was going to be some possibility for a high take here on Palo Alto and get going a little bit. I don't know. Did CrowdStrike follow it? I'm not sure. No, yeah, CrowdStrike followed it down, not back up. So we have to wait to see what's going on over there right now.
They still have to get through their earnings.
IREN really came back in. I'm going to try a small dip buy here on IREN. We just got filled there at 94. Just trying to give it to 67. I think my stop is 66.50 on IREN. So we'll have to wait to see if that comes back in. I'm actually going to give it to 66 break on IREN and see what winds up happening. So early dip buy opportunity there. We want to get a little longer, man, if it does come back into 67 flat. So we're going to put a bid down there, 67.10 or so, and see if we can pick something up a little more substantial on IREN down there near 67, and then give it $1. We've already seen it have the move higher, and we don't want to stop out too early on this move down. So we'll take advantage of what we do, and we'll watch out for IREN right now back in. All right, what else do you guys want to talk about? We do have our poll, our stock visualizer. I was going to say stock tweeter, but stock visualizer. If you could throw that up, we could see what's going on right now as well. We can also look at Twitter. Oh, Neil has it on his screen. Okay, so Lays. I said Twitter and I put up Tesla. Go to Neil's screen there. He has it up there.
Number one, remember when you're putting symbols in.
Or who's over there?
Make sure you type the $sign if you can. If we could, is it Ram? Can we just throw it on my screen?
Not here yet.
No, I saw.
Oh, Ramin's here. Okay.
Ramin's right there. I just saw her over there.
What's up, Ramin?
We've got Lays number one, NVTS, and MRVL. So actually, yeah, NVTS, Navitas we haven't talked about. We'll get to that in a second. MRVL up there. IREN, of course, makes sense. Tesla going crazy. AMD, Meta. GameStop just got to VWAP. Nvidia. S-Dot. Okay, so there's like two names that we haven't talked about at all. S-Dot I'm not familiar with. Up 100%, whatever SDOT is. SADOT Group? Whatever. I don't even know them, but if they're up 100% and you guys are interested, that means it's a mover. I'm sure Sharif will be all over it. So I did take out that GameStop, just a trend break into the volume weighted average price, still putting in lower highs, like the actual, like holding VWAP and breaking above all of this mess would look a little bit better. Like start closing above VWAP, that's a poorly drawn trend line because really I should draw it there. Holding VWAP would be good for a secondary entry. As far as crypto goes, the next time it gets to VWAP or a reasonable lower high, I'm just thinking like yesterday, right? Like if it's, until it proves that it's not like yesterday, then I'm gonna assume it just sells off like, forget about yesterday, like the last couple of days. It's basically sold off to at least until noon. The low got made yesterday at 3:30. So we'll just stay net short that bad boy. So what is strong? Someone just said, Gurev just says Meta, 3%.
Okay.
That's super strong. The 600 level, that's about the only place you've been able to buy this stock is at $600.
All right, man, we got reloaded on Google at the high side there, so that's a good trade. Now we're over $1 in the money on that reload right now on Google. There's 366 down to 364, so it's now $1. Okay, this is going better than I thought. It's now $1.70 in the money on the reload right now for Google. Let's go Google, man. That was a good one. That's a hot dog cannon right there for Google as that just keeps on coming back in. So we'll just go short early. That was That was way too early, man. I mean, we were just sitting there. We never want to try to catch those fills, to be honest with you. But then 366, it came up, wicked once. I said, let's try again. If I like the short, it's going to have to fall at some point. There it comes in. There's the short again for Google. We'll see if we can hold it back into VWAP or something like that. But let's take some profit. The 25 period has been pretty key. We didn't get a super reload down there because I was waiting for 67.10. On IREN, but it does fall back in. We're going to wait to see if we can get any love for some IREN right now at these low levels. But MRVL still cruising. People saying, Sean, when are you going to trade SNDK? I say to SNDK, when are you going to split? 1,700, still love that stock, man. This has been a moneymaker and a multi-million-dollar stock for many, many traders out there. Congratulations if you were on SNDK early in your life, because this name has been an absolute printer, a wealth creator for so many traders. SNDK. Back in October, this name was $150. It's now $1,700. Put 10x on your name right there, SNDK, as that just continues to climb higher to the upside. And Lays is the one that everybody wants to talk about. It's going off some lasers right now for Lays as it's going higher right now. Just hearing that Uber is cutting 23%. That seems like a high number. So we'll have to watch out what's cutting employees, I believe. 23% there. We're going to get that story very, very soon. What's up, Ramin, my favorite around here? Glad to hear her in my ear. That is for sure. So what's up to Ramin right now? But yeah, Uber, well, we'll get that story. It doesn't seem to be acting,
It's basically
normally when you hear job cuts, the stocks react a little bit more to that. So I may have misreported that.
I haven't seen the whole headline, Sean, but so far what I have seen of it is roles and not jobs.
So I
for
see
employees, so it could just be they're doing less hiring. Again, I don't have enough details that I'm comfortable speaking on it, but I am seeing roles, is what I'm seeing.
We can get up that
don't
news
usually
story.
hear a term like that. Well, as long as Uber is in,
have the news.
It's literally sitting on a ledge right now. If it loses $69,
It's on a ledge.
It's short till it's not. If it loses the $69 level, I say that as somebody who owns shares in the stock. But if that breaks it, it's not going to happen today. Maybe we're talking about next week or something like that. But
I mean,
that flat bottom break would be.
It's a Bloomberg article. It says 23% of people cuts 23% of people division.
I don't know what that is.
People division.
Yeah, that's all I'm seeing. I'm guessing it's one of their roles within the company. I'm going to, again, look more into Uber's structure quickly to just kind of get a sense of this, but it sounds like this headline might not be as dire as the 23% thing immediately.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably, I think that's what we're sort of indicating at here as well from our side. It's generally when you see those kind of cuts coming through, it is, by the way, I just missed IREN again at 50s, so now I'm bidding 50s. I didn't bid it last time. So there's Uber. Uber's been really hot garbage, honestly. I hate to say that because I am an investor in Uber as well, and you guys might have seen me make some like stink faces the last time it was here at 80 because I should have sold there. And that's what I meant to do and didn't have any orders out. So that sucks. But the next time it comes to 80, I'm selling some Uber. I do think it's undervalued, but what does it matter what I think? There's someone coming here for that business, and I do believe it's Tesla coming with those robo-taxis. So let's wait to see what happens here with Uber and Tesla over the next little while. We're still $1.50 in the money on Google, looking for a bid coming through. And if it does, it'll support this 64 area. And I am putting a buy down here at VWAP. So if we can get something into 363, we'll like that for Google. It's Adara time again.
I just want to provide some more context here with Uber. So I looked into this. It looks like specifically their human resource division, which is the people division, they got a new president. That president wants to clean things up. And so she is going to be cutting here 23% of the jobs within that human resources heavy division. So that is the deal here, just to kind of get all of the Uber confusion out of the way. Again, 23% of the human resources division, which is called the people division, is going to get cut. Uber is not reacting. It also didn't really react to that AI spend headline yesterday either.
And thank you for the clarity there. It just ultimately that I don't care what they're doing. The chart really does speak for itself on that one, and not in a good way. Appreciate you, IDF, and thank you for the super chat. We appreciate the super chat for sure. And we got some gifts as well from TikTok that I wanted to acknowledge. Platinum Development Group. We've got MW. as well. So I want to thank you both. If you have a message, great. If you don't, fair enough. That's absolutely fine. And then we had a super chat from Hold Strength as well. I don't know if did we get to this?
Oh shit, I'm supposed to be long at 22.
The hyperliquids, this ETF.
Went to 22.50.
Yeah, that came to market here and for the first time today trading. So there you go. Went live today. There's also an IPO today as well. It's in the aerospace field. That's AADX. This is not an automatic take the opening print. Might trade it, but I don't think I'm taking the opening print on this one. I don't know if anyone's all that interested in it. It's only 780 million shares. The big ones are tomorrow are the bigger trades. I'm still looking for that re-entry in GameStop. Over here, it's pulled back off. So we got right to VWAP, and then VWAP, hey, it's a level, so we rejected it for now. It pulls back into this prior low at 22.3. That's one spot. Or I could just let it make another downtrend to be able to break said downtrend. So patience on GME. It's still looking relatively weak, so we'll take another shot at it, but it needs to show a little more strength than it is. Don't want to throw away those morning profits. So we're going back to the desk with Adara.
Be quick here, guys. I just want to mention here, MRNA. Looks like at 10 a.m. it was announced that this company has received a $285 million Health and Human Services contract, so government contract for Moderna valued at $285 million. This was awarded on June 1st, but again announced about 10, 15 minutes ago. Back to you.
Yeah, not to beat a dead horse, but more outs there on Google. We said we're sitting at 363. We sit at the 50 period moving average, so we're into that one. And then again, we reloaded again on IREN. So there's another 50 cents on the reload rate here for IREN as it's starting to go up. I'm sitting at 68.09s. Hopefully we can get that fill, and there it is right there. There's another face slapper there on IREN. And again, it's as it was written, man. If you're joining us a little late, make sure you give us a follow down here. I'll put it out, but there's the sticky note for today, which gave you IREN multiple times. I mean, look at the price level that we wrote. Between 67 and 68 would be the long for IREN, and we wrote that down in the pre-market, of course, when we were at 71 and 72. And look where the long is for IREN today. That's 67, that's 68. So it's really come into these areas. So we don't want to hold it too long if it does break below. I'm actually going to switch the bid now to 67. So if it, or sorry, the offer. If it does break back down below that level, I'm going to get out. I'm going to offer some more out here at 10s, get that fill, because, man, I mean, who knows where it's going to go. We want to make sure that we do have some profit where profit lies. And here is it going into the super chat. And guys, please, give us a follow. We're gonna be posting up interesting things as we go there. Anything that Trader TV winds up putting out, I'm gonna retweet those things as well. So all of our videos that we have out, that go out there, will be out on our Twitters. So make sure you do give a good follow, and on Instagram at tradertv.live, at tradertv.Sean on Instagram as well. I mean, trying to grow the community as much as we possibly can. Look at MRVL, man. Wow, props up to those longs. On MRVL, we wrote down 3 bills, man. We tried to support that $300 trade for sure right there. Did not work at 302. Came in, cracked lower. We were able to get $5 or $6 on that. Then went short again, got stopped out. Then went short, took a big trade back in, and then stopped out for flat. And now we let MRVL sort of cruise to the high side where it belongs. I really like MRVL, and I don't know if you guys know that, but MRVL working out the best it could today. Palo Alto earnings play day 1. Always dangerous to play stocks on their earnings, but it's been pretty calm today, right? I mean, Palo Alto has just been hitting out 286s. I just got a good fill somewhere. I just got Google, by the way. They're 362. Google just hit for another $3 there as it's coming right back in. Right into VWAP. Talk about reloads right there, man. This was, again, our number. I'm not going to show the sticky note again. You guys know where it is, but it's the number 2 trade today is Google short. So the top 2 plays P&L-wise for me is Google and IREN, the only 2 that are on the list, right? MRVL was on the list, but that was wrong for the long. So there it goes, man. Google now $4. IREN now coming back in. I'm going to switch the stop here on IREN to 67. If we break below then we can get out and not worry too much about it. I actually don't really like the way this is trading. I'm going to offer some out right now at 55 IREN.
Yeah, and I want to thank Adara just looking into Rigetti for us here. There was a really crazy price action on Rigetti just a couple of minutes ago. Like it did a huge V-shape, monster rejection candle through 27.50 and now pulling back in. So this could just be technical stuff. Maybe some people got stopped out chasing that program buy along. I see that candle, I'm paying for locates. Because if it just starts trending down for the rest of the day, I don't mind jumping over to it. I haven't strayed from the list today. It's been GameStop, IBIT, IREN. The only thing on the list that I haven't traded is Tesla, but fair enough. I'm adding Rigetti to the list and Rivian. I don't know where Randy is, but Rivian's back above 18
Sitting
bucks.
at his desk right there.
Oh, see, yeah, okay. No, he's right in front of me, but like the way my screens are set up, and when he's sitting there, I can't actually see him. But Randy's right there. You are at resistance on the daily at 18.5 bucks. So when you get to a monster level and you're parabolic, I like when I can find a trend break if I can. So just gonna line this one up. If it happens to break the trend at some point in the next like 30, 40 minutes, you'll probably see me into a short there. We have Israel's Netanyahu, Trump, and I agree on the main things regarding Iran. Okay, that's nice. Nothing burger, probably. Oil's doing absolutely nothing. Always double check to see if oil's doing anything there. We haven't quite gotten to VWAP on IBIT. It's still making these lower highs, but like that last little shot. See, each time like it's touched or broken VWAP and then get it on the way back in. This time it's not doing it, but I did say if I cannot get that, or if I don't get that, then there's a chance at MSTR, but it's not really showing me a short entry. BMNR was the go-to yesterday when you didn't get a shot, and it's at the low of the day as well. So not at any reload levels just yet, and still standing by, not yet getting into GameStop. We got one good one into VWAP. It's still looking pretty weak. I don't want to try to just be sitting in front of the bid where I like it. Show me your buyers, and I'll just simply join the next available move. So still waiting for that second shot here in GME. Already a good day, and don't want to turn in anything bad. I know some people are looking at that Walmart. All the exuberance that went into it while the market was flushing seems to have really calmed down. It could have just been like some rotation money, like when everything was dumping, it was programmed buy on Walmart, and unless we dump again, you might not get a second leg in this name. We're going to go over to Adara, I believe, for the small cap recap.
We're going to start with a name here that's familiar with you, or should be familiar to you if you've either watched the midday yesterday or if you trade small caps in general. LASE, Laser Photonics Corp. They are in, you guessed it, the photonics tech kind of space here for LASE. You've got a market cap here of $153 million and a float of 24.6 million shares. 7.3% of that float is going to be sold short. LASE recently announced that their Laser Shield anti-drone system was selected under the MEIA Vulcan Call for solutions. So some news there recently anyway here. SDOT, this was a reverse split that went into effect on May 27th, so last Wednesday. It's been reverse split now for exactly 1 week. SDOT has a market cap of $5.5 million and a float of just 690,000 shares, so sub-million share float. Last but not least, PMI, $30 million market cap, 30 million share float. It was on watch yesterday. PMI Picard Medical is up yet a day. Let's see if this can continue to trek to the upside. Back to you.
That stock is engaged to the upside.
PMI Medical, a good one there. Yesterday, I don't know, did it hit 1 billion shares? Not sure. There's IREN, man. We will put this one. It's going into the gates of hell because it's making new lows right now. But honestly, no damage done on IREN, to be honest with you. We've made money on IREN. IREN was a great stock today. There's the 67 break, and we noticed up here that there was a problem. See all these outs? I mean, that's why we were getting out right there as this was falling back in. So we held like 10 or 15% back there. I actually had a bid at 67.11, so that hit and immediately got punched out. So it just ran right into us right there to the downside. I can laugh now because it was a nothing trade, but if that had happened earlier, we might have had more shares. Not into 10.22. 10.30. We already have a short right now. It's $4. It's Google. That's the one that's been working out for us. All right, so we looked at Space, Virgin Galactic the last couple days. You know, not really looking at it here today. We did indicate that that $7 marker was something that was pretty important, and now you've come right back in, and I think it's maybe even a longer zoom out than this, yeah. So, you know, even now, oh, maybe it wasn't, no, that's 550. I can't remember where that $7 area was, but, oh, maybe right into here, yeah. So we came up into this area right there, and now we've fallen back in for Virgin Galactic, as I already mentioned, you know, some of the steam coming out of Rocket Lab, AST Mobile ahead of the SpaceX IPO. So we're going to have to be careful with this name again, as it's fallen pretty good from $8 down into 4.5 now. So looking to see a VWAP or something like that, 200 period, sorry, hold if it comes into 3. That's a little lower than where we are right now. So that's potentially a misstep there by Space, and anybody holding on to that, you want to be careful. IREN bounces, man. We wrote 67 down as our stop, as our area. It's between 67 to 68. So it did breach the low end of that. Because I didn't have that many shares, I punched out. But now thinking maybe a reload area there. And I just want to be smart with it, because if I don't punch out, then I would be averaged into this. And if the trade breaks, then I'm breaking my own rules, and we don't really want to do that. We want to make sure that we're following it. We've broken enough of our rules to know that that's not something that we want to continue to do. So IREN will get out of it. We won't ask questions. We'll just watch to see what it wants to do. Yesterday's stock that made a huge move back upside was Micron. Will it happen today? Generally, it's happened before now. You know, so nice move down, still down 0.4. Interesting, there's not too many days of Micron in Micron land that were actually red. So maybe today we get one of those finally. Nice 3-day pull there. 2-day, that shouldn't be red. So I don't know why that's red, but anyways, going back there to the upside, we'll see. I guess it closes, because it closes slightly lower, I guess, than the last, but that last close was there. So this candle should not be red.
It's not red on my chart.
Oh, it's not red on your chart? Okay, well, that's interesting. So me and Neil and I on the same platform. Look, go to Neil's.
No, go to my chart. See?
There we go. So there's Neil's chart. And then there's, go back to mine. And there it is. So we have a red candle there on mine and not on Neil's. So anyways, looking at that, it shouldn't be red. But that doesn't matter. Whatever it's doing there. It might be something in our settings. But at the end of the day, Micron doesn't have, that's what I'm trying to get at, doesn't have many red days. So we'll see if Micron gets back to Greensville right now. And what a comeback for MRVL. You know, that name's starting to go. And ARM broke 400. It's still staying underneath 400, but that's a nice move back too, man. 375 was the bid. Now it's 390.
I'm taking a piece in 40 minutes.
So we're watching in 40 minutes.
11 o'clock. When we're done the morning show, I'm going to take another piece out on ARM.
Okay, yeah.
I feel like,
I mean, it's extended.
I've been saying that if this whole house of cards were to fall apart, ARM does sit out there, because this new chip venture for them, like, you're talking about revenues 2 years down the line. Yeah. Great, it's being repriced because of it, but you know, it's ultimately like that could see a huge pullback relative to some of the other parabolic names in the space. Still like this Rivian for a trend break. We'll see if it gets going. I don't know. Like, this is all program buying. Like, since it bounced off VWAP, there hasn't been a red candle on the 3-minute. I feel like this is going to be first red candle. You'll see me in a short, and as long as we wait for it, I think it'll be fine. What else we got going on? No Vinsanity. Tesla is the one name. Did not. Like, I've traded GameStop, IBIT, and IREN. Those were the three of the 4 names that were on my note this morning. Tesla was not, but it just didn't quite, like, it doesn't pull back into the prior lows. It was an absolute chop fest on this breakout of the high. Like, that wasn't even remotely clean, and it didn't really give you any consolidation back in here to this 425. Like, this structure just way too choppy for the way that I liked it. So, you know, we can always be patient with it. GameStop has finally made it back to the bottom where we longed it before. So all I needed to do is, here, just quickly show you, just slap another trend line on it. If it breaks, I go long GameStop again. If Rivian ever stops going up and shows a red candle and breaks its trend, I go short on that, and we hold IBIT until it breaks VWAP for sure. So market's rebounding pretty nicely, but I don't wonder if it's a bit of a trap.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
Yeah, I don't know either, man. I mean, that's part of what we're trying to do here every day, is try to figure out exactly where where this market wants. Oh, you found the trap button?
Yeah.
It's a trap. Okay, good. All right, so yeah, man. I mean, I don't know if we got trapped or what, or you know, if we're listening to trap music or what, but like, we right there on IREN.
The trap queen.
Should have followed our notes, man. We wrote down 67. It is now popping back there to the upside. Here's a look at the dollar strength today, or maybe you might want to say weakness. Let's go over to the dollar here. Let's go into a 10-minute chart right there. Nice move. As we saw the NASDAQ try to pull back upside a little bit, that's going to indicate a little bit of dollar strength. NASDAQ downside, so there it is, nice little pop there. We talked about silver and whatnot, to maybe have a look over there at SLV, but right now, US dollar doing what it's doing. Let me look at a 1-minute chart just to see if there's anything. Okay, yeah, so very, very choppy. I saw that there was the move up there, but just as we went on air at 8 o'clock, but it hasn't really done too much, and that coincides with this move right there in the NASDAQ coming back in. So look how choppy right now the NASDAQ is, look how choppy the US dollar is. So if this can start to make its way back down, maybe NASDAQ will appreciate back through some of these levels. And so IREN definitely, look, IREN's gonna be P&L number 2 here for me today. So we'll have to hit a siren on that one. We'll also hit a fail on the stop out. We could have got more aggressive and we didn't. So that's obviously on me. I'm responsible for all those trades, but I'm also responsible for this one as well, because there goes Google right back in, and I'm gonna take another piece out right now. This was a great reload. This is gonna be the stock of the day for me here. Google, just again, early short there. This was patient with it. Put on a much bigger position up here at 66s. Then it came back in for some reason, right into 66 again. And we just said, Cookie Monster, feed me more. And there it comes right back, and we hit it twice. You see we have multiple fills up here. That's 2 ticks up there at 66. So the first one was literally 66. And I think we must have got, what am I short now? Maybe that's an 08 or something like that. But we'll see an average price coming up right now. We do have crude oil inventories
right about now,
coming out just about now. So we'll see if that has any effect on USO. USO today, downside, now trying to bump a little bit there, up 1.6%, hanging around VWAP. So we'll see if those crude oil inventory numbers have anything to do with anything. And then Meta, what a day for Meta, man. Everybody sort of left it for dead there yesterday, but it was $600, now it's $615. Good little move back higher there for META, Meta. Oil inventories in 20 seconds.
Yeah, oil inventories in 20 seconds, and August with a super chat here for us. So you invested 10K in MasterCard 2 days ago, falling hard now. Yeah, we saw that with the financials. It was Visa and MasterCard not doing too well. They've been...
Wow, Google.
They haven't been that great, relatively speaking. If you got some concerns about the consumer, yikes, yikes, and yikes for them. It's a tough look when you're trying to fight some of the trend in the relative market. It's the NASDAQ which is carrying things. Someone actually mentioned this, and this is true, that the ES, under VWAP, looking pretty weak, and the NASDAQ pumping. We just went green. The NASDAQ just went green, so that's headed toward the high. I'm back into wait for GME. It double bottoms, gives a little green look, and then now back in, hopefully to the upside, to VWAP, and Rivian, which was the other name that we were waiting for. That is attempting to break the trend. Well, trust me when I still have it drawn and saved up on my black chart that I look up on. So it did break the trend line, so I'm now jumping into this one to the south. So I look for VWAP retracement on Rivian. Not really sure if there's anything but like deliveries, I guess, at the beginning of the month, why it's up 5%. But.
All right, yeah, we're just going to continue to look at the different spaces. We just talked about some of the financials there. Watch out for SoFi breaking back down below $17 again. So that's a big fail, man. SoFi tried to tease everybody that one day. I wasn't here on Friday, went up to 20 bucks. And again, that was such a good level to short right there. If you were in it, for a swing, somehow SoFi never seems to hold anything, so we'll have to watch out there.
It never holds 10%. If it's double-digit gains,
it might go double-digit losses.
Exactly.
In a couple seconds right now. SoFi making a pull back in there, and again, I don't think it has anything to do with crypto. I mean, we've been watching sort of the decoupling happening over there, and especially in a name like a Robinhood. That's starting to go upside. I thought. Down 4% today, but yeah, there was the move up to 95. Robinhood, actually in the same type of thing, right? I mean, Robinhood mooned on that exact same day and is unable to hold it. That went to $95 there and coming right back in. So yeah, yuck on all of the fintech names. But you can always look at a big dog, right? Look at JP Morgan. We talked about this again. I think this is another name that's primed to get some investment money coming back into it, right? I mean, at some point, this whole trade is going to unwind. And what I mean by that is this whole AI trade. And when it does, traders will be, especially long-only funds, of course, will be looking to put their money to work somewhere, whether or not they dump it in an index or not. I still feel like XLF and some of these financial spaces could be good. I mean, I still think there's a chance for rate cuts this year. And if that happens, I wonder if that sort of sparks a little bit more interest here in some of the financials as their net interest margin should improve for them if the rates go down. 50-50 rate into there. See, we're at like a tipping point for the XLF. So we did a little bit of a discussion on ETFs and what the importance is of having ETFs into your portfolio. Maybe now is the time for a little XLF in your life. Tonight, though, is Broadcom. So if you can't get enough of the tech trade, and by the way, MRVL is, I know we wrote down 3 bills on the sticky note and it went to 294, so we got stopped out of that trade. But Broadcom reporting tonight, will Broadcom go the way of HPE and Dell and some of these other names, or will it go the way of Nvidia that actually went down day after record earnings? I think it's more likely the latter there for Broadcom, and I'm going to throw it to Neil in a second. I just want to show you MRVL right there, back up to 316. So Austin 316, Joe, for MRVL.
Hit it.
Right there, as this name just continues to climb higher, up another 8.5% there today. Thanks, Joe, as he is getting very, very.
You don't have to
a little more excited than I thought he'd be there. But there's Apple.
Like hitting that key,
What's up,
bro?
Joe? Getting ready, man. 25 minutes before the Bro Show with Joe and Sharif coming in very, very soon. 313 Apple red on the day.
Tell me you saw that guy hit the DX on the.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, one of those guys. Yeah, I saw that.
I'm like, if you're.
Pitcher.
In the game of baseball, if you're a pitcher and you are thinking of creative ways to get the next batter on your team to be hit the next inning,
That's a good way.
slapping the DX after getting a random out it's a good way to get it done. Something Uribe was the pitcher's name. It's hilarious. If you're a wrestling fan, it's kind of joke.
Yeah, I saw it.
If I was a batter in that guy's team, be like,
over the top.
Like seriously, what are we doing here? You didn't just win the World Series. The DX he flashed. We're gonna get to some super chats in a quick little second. The first non-planned trade was just like this trend break on Rivian. If we get to VWAP, great. That's where we'll look for an out. Already took some out of that one. GME not really cooperating the second time through. Stronger the first time, weaker the second time. So I think we'll keep this one tighter to the vest than before. IBIT's still allergic to the volume weighted average price. It's still trending down, but it hasn't tagged VWAP to give a re-entry, so just not going to do it. Yet we're just going to hang on to it. We still have our target of yesterday's lows, which is down here about 37.5. That really keeps bouncing. I said this yesterday. It just keeps bouncing off this 66.5, 66.6 level for what it's worth. It just seems like it was a number in the afternoon that it was able to hold, and it's doing the same thing again. So there might be something to that. Maybe an MSTR long if this breaks VWAP. Yeah, if it breaks VWAP, I think MSTR would be a long over IBIT itself. But we'll see. The Nasdaq's doing a very good job of bouncing nicely here. You got to give it some credit. Like the buyers have come back in. They've come back in on ARM, although I still think I'm going to ring some register, during lunchtime on this. It's just so parabolic. Now you're consolidating up here. I just want to have some dry powder available just in case. Let's go to Adara.
We're here, guys. USO to the upside. We did have that EIA storage report. Crude was a draw, negative 7.794 million versus negative 3.05 million expected. So what's happened here with crude? We're also getting tons of comments from Benjamin Netanyahu, Israeli Prime Minister, who's currently speaking on CNBC Live, saying it would be, quote, possible militarily to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, saying that President Trump is considering many options and they talk every 2 days. Also, he said that he'll defer to President Trump should any military action be required as to whether or not they'll return. So again, if there is a return here to military action, looks like Benjamin Netanyahu is going to leave that to President Trump. He said that he and Trump are, quote, trying to achieve identical goals. So be aware. He is currently speaking. Guys, oil could be on watch. Back to you.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you so much there. Adara, we got a key for what we do.
Thank you very much, Dara.
Yeah, good.
You got it. You might as well hit it. Like, what's the point of having all these fantastic tools? Like, I can't do it now. Shoot, I was gonna hit the market green, then I looked over and the Qs are back into the red.
Oh, boo.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hit the market red because we like it better when the market is going to the upside. But I did feel like it felt a little bit trappish up top there. Just a bit of a gut feel. Like the way that some of these things have sold off and some of the profit taking. Like I look at ARM, like how much do we really like that bounce? It's much heavier in the morning than it was yesterday. When you look at when it broke VWAP, like look at the strength is it's taking out the volume weighted average price and then a dip buy and go. I suppose it's not entirely dissimilar, but something about it, I just don't feel the same way. For Rivian, not going to let this get past the break even. It's gone a little bit. It's still trend up. Still not sure if there's anything really going on except for a technical break here on RIVN. But for now, VWAP with a break even stop, which I always try to tighten it up. Once it hits a first resistance spot, I'm always going to tighten the stop in there when you're going against the grain. Meta's still looking okay, but even that's starting to pull back. That's what you don't want to lose. You don't want to lose the leadership. If the Nasdaq's going to hold, then either the strong stocks need to pick it back up to get to the highs, or some of the depressed names need to kick it up a notch. And if it's not going to be, like a Meta or Apple holding us up again, well, then Nvidia's got to do something. Like one of these things has to happen. Either you can get some strength back into the names that were carrying us in the morning, or Nvidia can get off its lazy butt and do something other than crash. Otherwise, we're not going to get that hold of green territory yet.
All right, I'm putting it up in the account. I just sold 20% of MRVL, so I put some out there. What we had left on, we still got. Trust me, we still got shares. I didn't sell any of it in the long-term account. Maybe I should be doing that. We just sold it out at 316.04. Right there on MRVL, came right back up into this level. So we'll get some more out. That's the fund money account. So, paying for things, and we'll wait to see. We got to put a down payment at some point on that R2 there, Randy. Or if we go to the Model Y Juniper, I don't think the wife, she wants the Model X, but that's 170. As we already saw this morning, the Model X that's available. So I'm not putting down $170,000 on a Tesla. Do it, yeah, okay, I'll do that. Right, I'll mortgage my eldest there. Okay. Rivian, I just checked the account too.
On the 9th, he said.
I'm up on Rivian. I mean, I'm still long. I just looked at the account. They're long 12 and change on Rivian, so it's been a good one. I haven't bought this name in years. Literally, I think it was very, very early when we bought some Rivian. We did get some out the first time it came to 18. This is a long time ago. We didn't buy anything down here, so it's not like I'm long at 12 from here. I'm long. I mean, this probably, I could check the account, but this goes back many, many years. I think it's probably back into here somewhere, and then we popped up in a whole bunch of times coming into 18. I think I would have got out in and around there probably. It might have even been there as this dipped back in and then back out into those areas. But you could see right here on a longer term time frame, Rivian is just trying to top out right now. So I like the stock. I'm getting the reason why I got a little impatient there last night. I was like, is it really going to take to mid to late 27 here in Canada to get to R2? And I don't know. I was getting bored and was looking at a few different cards there last night. But there's a Hyundai IONQ 5, I believe, is another one. But anyways, that's what it is. TQ's right now exactly flat, man. The NASDAQ is at zeros right there. So it's not market green. It's not market red. It's market flat right now. So
the poke me thing is what you got to use.
Oh yeah, we can say that. Oh yeah, we haven't done that poke me thing in a long time. Do something, it's called. Where do I have it on here? There it is, right here. Go tell the market to wake up.
I don't even have that one.
Wake up a little bit. Right there, market.
Although it has moved a bunch.
Yeah, see if you can get.
Like
Yes. Everything's all good, man. We're having a good time here every day, as you guys know. So thanks for joining us, and we're gonna throw it back to Adara. It's 10:40.
Here's the sector board. There is some weakness here in tech services. Meta and Google trying to hold up this sector, but the rest of it quite weak. Finance struggling. Communications down in a big way. All of the names in the sector, the major names anyway, down at least 2% each. Commercial services down. Non-energy minerals mostly down. Electronic tech is interesting. You have Nvidia, Intel, Qualcomm, some of these names that got beat up recently. They're actually to the upside, but Nvidia, Apple to the downside here. Producer manufacturing strong across the board with AMAT, LRCX, and Caterpillar all up 2.5%. Retail trade strong with the exception of Amazon and Carvana. Carvana down 4%. Health tech looking good. Energy minerals looking good. Consumer durables, process industries, industrial services, and health services. So sort of noting here, looks like if you're to zoom out, we have green sectors for the most part seeming to outnumber red sectors, but the sectors that are red are down substantially. Back to you.
Yeah, well, when financials are down and you see those big red marks, like the big red mark on Nvidia, and if the banks are down, like the market can't do much with that. You're not going to have a great day. No. That said, it's still only 10:40. Like, Nvidia could catch a bid. I'm trying to come up with reasons why we're gonna. I even said it was a trap, and I wasn't really believing in it. But like the Nasdaq is holding out pretty well, right? Like look, it's a half, almost full V shape, consolidating above VWAP, kind of above most of the resistance for yesterday. You've just got to. Why is it NVDA? Enter. Thank you. You've just got to do something here. Nvidia. Like this is the one I think that has to get going, or it's going to be an absolute nothing burger for this market holding some of those gains. Or like we said, like Meta, maybe Meta does continuation. Maybe Apple just does a whole like Atlas move and puts the market on its back like sometimes it's able to do. That's when we haven't watched. We got a third crack at VWAP here on IBIT. So what does it do? It goes to VWAP and it goes back to the low. 6-6 and a bunch of sixes, keeps on holding. So for now, we haven't really gotten that target of the absolute low of the day. GameStop just continues to go sideways. Like the first time it did this trend break was like straight up. This time it's doing a whole lot of nothing. I might just, yeah, this is something, I'm just gonna give it a tighter stop. Forget about giving to the low if it's not moving. If you're at that time of the day, like give me a break. It's doing absolutely nothing, so I'm gonna risk less on it by tightening the stop up. And then Rivian is still pretty much holding the line on that trend break of its own. Still looking VWAP, but what I can also do is now that you have a bit of a consolidation here, is it does give me like a second point that if it doesn't get to VWAP on this retracement play and starts holding an obvious trend down, I'd look for the reversion as my out. So it just gives me another stop instead of just saying, you know, first we have like this prior bar, then I move it into the break even. Now I can give it to this trend line. That we get to the volume weighted average price. We'll see what happens next. Tesla's still looking pretty good. And the reason I don't say Tesla, ooh, the market's gonna go higher if Tesla can drag it up there. I mean, Tesla's great, but Tesla's not Nvidia. It's not gonna be able to pull the Qs and the SPY higher all by itself. You need someone else to do some work. And I think it's gonna have to be Nvidia, which I'm not buying the dip on the day trade. It's just too weak, relatively.
Okay, 10:44, everybody. It's gonna be what's for lunch coming up soon. Some people, I just was going through my Twitter there, and someone was like, hey, can you talk? And I liked it, and I said yes. They said they're watching us live, so I want to say thank you so much. Holy moly, I can't believe this move. Yeah, 315 on MRVL. Yeah, that is for sure. It's a big move over there on MRVL. Yeah, someone, I should have found you anyways, but you mentioned, hey, can we have a quick look at Walmart? So I think we could do that right now. There's Google, by the way, just coming back in. We take another fill there at VWAP. We take one at the 50 period, one there at the VWAP. So, yeah, I mean, I've sort of talked a little bit about Walmart. We talked about this today when I was at 112. Look at this move there for Walmart, right back there to the upside, right? And this was part of the story, and this is why I tried to talk about it, that at some point there was going to be, you know, a retracement back upside. I mean, you know, it got revalued a little bit there to the downside. It's not that they had any problems with their quarter or anything like that. A lot of traders and, you know, overall worried about the consumer, you know, but I still think the consumer trades down and shops more at Walmart if there's any problems, you know, household-wise. And now it's a little bit back into it. It was, I think, a 46 to 47 forward PE. Now you're at 38 to 39. So, you know, definitely something that's worth talking about there. Walmart, maybe getting some Walmart into your life instead of some of these tech names. And like I just told you, I've been starting to sell a little bit. Costco, even then, 42 PE, so that's a little bit high. The name that I own right now in the retail space is Target. And I mean, and there's reasons for it. There's 124. I did sell some there at 121, held 25% of it. Forward PE 15 and 16 versus 40s for Walmart and Costco. So Target also with, I don't know where to find dividend yield, but there's also a good dividend on Target. I think it's 4 or 5% right here. It's in here somewhere. Dividend, I don't see. Oh, there it is right there. 3.7% there. So getting paid to hold a 15 PE name, I like it. I like it a lot. So yeah, we're still into Target, 25% over there. By the way, MRVL, decent sell. We sold a little bit there at 316. Like I said, it was just 20%, nothing to really write home about. But but there's Target right now. Nice bid today. We just got out of some at 121 right here, fearing that it was going to break there on earnings day. It did not. Made a move back up to 130. Now Target hovering around there. But hey, another name that if you're a little bit exhausted of everything, watch out for Target and do not get into Lululemon. They're going to report the next couple of days. Wait until the quarter for Lululemon. Then I think it's a screaming buy. So watch out for Lululemon on the buy side after the quarter.
I was gonna say, I don't have my flush emoji for that sucker. But you know what? As I was typing this up, we're almost exactly flat on the Qs. You don't always get this opportunity. There's the NASDAQ 0.03%. So we're gonna do a quick one. It's 10:47. We're rolling into the midday. We're gonna go into Joe and Sharif in just about 10 minutes or so. But simple. All you gotta do is type 1 or 2. Will the NASDAQ finish up today? I don't care if it's 0.01 or 0.1 or 1.5 would be nice. But quickly, just type 1 for up, type 2 for down. We're right at flat, so it's a perfect time to do it. Can Nvidia drag us higher? Maybe. We'll see. You absolutely never know. But let us know in the chat. Yeah, we've got some green in there. I think this might be like closer to 50-50. Like the poll yesterday was, I think, the easiest one you could ever imagine. And there you go. Ronani also caught some Walmart on the dip buy. I'm with you there because I bought it as well.
Yeah, you're welcome there. I mean, that's why we talk about these things every single day. And thank you for joining us every single day there, Roniani. Thank you so much for that one. And yeah, well loved. Some retail names, that is for sure. We're now still I only have one trade left, man. 450 in the money now on Google. IREN as well. Made a mistake getting out there at 67. It's what we wrote down, but hey, man, putting profit in our pocket today with IREN and Google go boom. Shaga for Google. I'm still going to wait for 361 to see if we get something out on that, but it's a good time to check out. What's for lunch? All right, June 1st to June 5th. Today we look down, it is the 3rd of June. Sharif is now back in the building. Today we have a Mexican flag. So Mexican flag generally means the same thing, but today it's a little different. It says slow cooked beef chili. So it's not a taco day today. It's a beef kind of a day. We had beef on Monday. We had jerk chicken there yesterday, beef with a Thai flavor there on Monday. Today it's gonna be Mexican beef chili. Cilantro base, it says Mexican cilantro rice, that's okay. I'm not a big fan of cilantro. Roasted seasoned vegetables, and then my favorite, the corn salad. So we'll top off such a great day here with hopefully a very tasty lunch. I want to thank our caterers for always hooking us up with what has been a good week so far there in Foodland. Yeah, yesterday's jerk chicken, I'd give about, for the cook, I'd give it pretty high. For the taste, I'd give it like a 3 to 4. It was not, the coleslaw was great, but it wasn't very jerk chicken-y yesterday. You have to temper your expectations. If you if you eat real jerk chicken, the caterer is never going to do that because then there's just too many people to be like, oh my goodness, it's too spicy. Yep. But the slaw was, it's not the best slaw I've ever had. I've been to some really good barbecue spots that have good coleslaw, but that was legit, man. Yeah, it was a good coleslaw. The coleslaw was very legit. Yeah, no more tilapia coming for any time soon. No,
we haven't had tilapia
all right,
in 2 weeks.
Money Talks, 10:50. Adara back to us, then to the big show in the midday.
Here is the US dollar, which is trying to break out here of this range. We've been in the daily for the last 2 weeks, more or less. Currently here at 99.5, still below last Thursday's high here of 99.54, but getting awfully close. We did get some economic data today ahead of the big employment data, unemployment and NFP coming through on Friday morning. We did get some ADP employment change data that came in here around expectations, 122,000, just above estimates of 120,000. S&P Services and Composite PMI below estimates at 945. But at 10 a.m., we got higher than expected ISM Services PMI. So kind of an interesting mix for PMI. Not a ton of Fed speak today. We had Fed's Williams saying that he thinks that the neutral rate is actually closer than it might seem, which is not out and out dovish, but it's certainly less cautious than we've gotten from a lot of Feds. Currently seeing here that the first rate hike could take place in January of 27. Earlier this week, that was scheduled to begin in December, or not scheduled rather, but expected to begin in December. So bit of a difference there. We're still seeing, though, in terms of this June meeting, which is now exactly 2 weeks away, 98.4% chance of rates being held in place. Back to you.
Thank you, as always. Thank you, Adara. And looks like we just saw one small cap-ish name pull back a little bit. Maybe Rivian's going to continue to go. What's crazy about Rivian? $18.
Oh yeah, that's right. I gotta get out of that.
18. Like, what is it about $18 on Rivian that like it's broken once? Like there was. Okay, Randy just said twice. Okay, fine.
Randy's still waiting for $10.
So if you go back to 2025,
So, I mean-
this move here didn't get to 19. So this is more what I'm getting at. Like every time it bounces off 10, you get like 18, doesn't break 19. There was one break of 19, not two, at least in the last couple of years. But every other time it's gotten to $18, never breaks 19. It's a huge rally. Like look at this. I guess there's like one little red day in here for the last 3 weeks. That's about it, or 2.5 weeks, whatever it works out to. But for now, it's doing the same thing it always did. Maybe this time is different. I don't know. Well, out of it in front of VWAP, that's a retracement trade into the volume weighted average price, and no more, no less. That's just the plan of action. IBIT is tried to bounce to get into VWAP again. It didn't really do so. So the good news for Bitcoin is it doesn't stink as much as it did yesterday or the day before. It is still trend down, but look at each of the mornings, it has been a heck of a lot weaker than this. So I don't wonder if there's not a reversal trade in here for either IBIT or I feel like MSTR might be. Yeah, but now MSTR is weaker, so maybe it'll just be IBIT. MSTR was strong early for whatever reason and then now followed suit. But the fact that it's a little bit more condensed here in IBIT today, like much tighter. So if we break out here like 37.9, might take a reversal trade in that bad boy. GameStop, as I said, like whatever, just tightening things up. It's not moving the same way it did cleanly into VWAP, so really tighten the stop, took a scalp. So I'm gonna risk a little bit less, then I'm gonna take a little bit less on the way to the upside. Just feel like that ends up being a bit of a nothing burger there on Tesla. So the next place that I'm looking that was not on the list, we have 5 minutes to go, is gonna be, I mentioned Rigetti had that weird volume spike and then a reversal. Looking for VWAP here on RGTI. That just looks like yesterday's double top. Huge rejection. Want to play some continuation here on Rigetti, but that'll have to pop into the volume weighted average price. Had to pay for locates, but in real trading, they're basically free. Adara?
Scott Bessent here, Treasury Secretary. He is still in this Senate hearing, specifically testifying on President Trump's 2027 budget request, but he's being asked about inflation. He just said, quote, inflation is going to be a short-term blip. So be aware here again, we're getting testimony from Secretary Bessent. If I get anything else, I'll let you know. Back to you.
Okay, thanks as always. Oh, Poet's strong again. Well, I was gonna say on sympathy with MRVL, but it was the other. They don't have a deal with MRVL, right?
Poet, I don't know. It was back and forth. They lost.
They do. Yeah, they do. They don't.
They lost it, then they didn't lose it.
Either way, they're up 7%. I just remember, like, they lost that deal, got absolutely destroyed. They've been destroyed twice in the last month here. 23 to 12, so almost cut in half, and then you have another one 17 to 7, so actually cut in half. There could be a breakout on Poet at 15.5. I suppose that'll be, I would imagine this will be on Sharif's radar. It's above VWAP, it's a gapper, it's done 15 million shares. What about the other small capper? Is that Lay's? Ooh, oh, Lay's has something. Here's something on Lay's. That's not, I don't usually see this, but go from the low, hold the higher lows, hold the lower highs. That's what looks like a wedge pattern to me. So not just a cool character on Star Wars, but also a trading pattern. This could be a breakout over VWAP on Lay's. Good volume. This is going to do 250,000 easy here today. LASE, a popular one for the small cap traders all morning long. And it looks like a pretty good one for sure. IREN did break that trend line. Did it? Hold on. I got to redraw this one. No. Not yet. So remember, like IREN from the pre-market high, there was this breakout. I could draw this a little better to show you the initial kind of break and then fail, but it hasn't really broken that trend line yet, but it is getting very, very close. So I'm with you. It could be close on IREN to taking that second shot. And like I said, tightening up the stop in GME, just because I like the level doesn't mean it's doing what I want to see. So it ends up being kind of flat the second time through, and you got VWAP the first time. You take what you can get. But that's the strategy. The same way it was the strategy to get VWAP on Rivian, it was a strategy to get VWAP on GameStop. Sometimes they go further, sometimes they don't, but the trade is the trade. And all you're trying to do is lock it in if you can. Yeah, IREN might be next. Maybe not Rigetti. It might end up being this IREN breaking this trend line above VWAP for a second salvo today.
All right. Yeah, again, really, you were just talking about Iran. I mean, mistake on that one. We had written down, and I'm just going to show it again. We have new viewers here today. So there it was, man. Our trade of the day. It's pretty obvious there. I'm still in Google. Google's $5 in the money right there. And here's Iran right there. Look at the long, 67 to 68. That is the exact range. It's our #1 trade today. So glad that we're able to put some profit on that. But our biggest trade is Google. Google's much, much bigger. And there's Iran. Look at that. To write it down between 67 and 68 as the lows, I mean, that once it broke, I had very small shares. I was like, I'm going to get out of that. A little bit of a mistake there. So we learned something we learned something every single day. That's now $5 right there for today, although we talked about it, man, it's beef. Philly, but there's your chicken dinner winner. Wow, there we go. Now we are really starting to get some action here on Google. Bye-bye as we wait for 360 to fill right now, as that's going to come into play there at your 200 period moving average. And hey, man, we got out of MRVL in our account and tweeted it out. I mean, again, another potential reason if you guys are looking for some of the plays. I don't know if Neil puts it out. I put it out here. Every time I'm trying to get in and out of something, I put it. So there it is, man. 316 out of a little bit of MRVL there. This will probably be, hit that Austin again, my guy. But we got a little bit out there at 316 in their swing account. So that was a good trade. Look, man, it's probably going to be 330 by the time that it closes today. So it's just letting you know that, got to get a little lighter on some of those plays. And we did talk about putting some more money to work in different spots. So there is MRVL. Right there Walmart looking for a play 112.50. Nice, recovery there for Walmart. And I'm glad some of you are able to get some money into that one there with only a minute left. We missed that Google. We are at 360.25s. I guess I got to adjust that one there. We'll see if it does wind up breaking. But with only a minute left, it's been a good day. And apparently Intel, people are talking about right now coming back in. Good move back down there.
It was up 7% at one point.
Yeah. Anyways, there goes Intel.
Unfortunately, this is the thing. Like some of the chip names just can't seem to hold the rest of that move. Like we said, like ARM's holding up pretty well. This is another reason I'm going to ring the register in a couple of minutes here. Less than 1 minute, we're going to be off. Remember, we had Palo Alto this morning. Not bad. It's only down 6%. I said the word, and Sharif goes he just called it shit. I'm like, really? Like really? Look at this chart. We're just you can't, if you're hating on that, then what are you going to do? And then we get CrowdStrike tonight, which, both of these names have gone absolutely parabolic. A little bit of sympathy to the downside for CrowdStrike. Remember, there is a smallish IPO today, nowhere close. It's probably not open. I actually haven't been tracking it. AADX, Applied Aerospace and Defense Inc. Current tap, $22. The issue was at 20. It's only 750 million shares or so. So shy of that 1 billion mark that we do like. But hey, if you're in the IPOs and you got one today, you got two tomorrow, that quantum stock, and then another energy play is going to be out there. It's 11. We're going to get a little bit of beef for lunch. We'll see how that goes in the Mexican beef action. Should be solid. We'll see you back at 2 o'clock. But for now, we got Joey options. We got the professor. Go get him.
Trade S.Joey.
I'm in devs right now.
Yo, your boy Joey is trading small caps. It is a new day. Boom.